That's cool. Your GM hat ain't better than mine.
We'll see. As long as at the end of the day, you got to win the games. It don't matter what players you got. You just got to win the game.
Hey, I win
you
my
played to win the game.
I just know that I probably shouldn't have went to the NFC Championship because my schedule probably gonna be brutal as hell again.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, we'll see. I ain't scared to face nobody. I'm just trying to get my young QB out there, Trey Lance. He gonna be rookie of the year. I don't give a damn who you got, FIFO.
Huh?
I don't give a damn who you got. Trey Lance gonna be rookie of the year.
Hey, watch my defense, yo. My defense better than my offense this year. I'm a defensive first team. I gotta stop this run. And then did you see in the chat when I posted the Ravens dude got Khalil Mack too?
Yeah, I saw that. You said Khalil Mack and Von Miller?
Yeah, on the outside, bro. That's crazy.
So when he did that, I traded for Derwin James.
We'll see. Because you know that dude like to run. He don't like to throw.
I'll stop him, man.
All right, gentlemen, can you hear us? We good?
Yeah, I can hear y'all.
All right, cool.
Did y'all want to start with NFL or NBA?
Oh, we got to start. Well, yeah, we got to start with. Yeah, got to start with NBA.
All right.
Let me
Who playing that church Bible study music? That you, Sheldon?
Nah. I think that's B.
Bobby Bird, what?
don't know shit about that. You don't know, youngin', that Bobby Bird.
I'm just talking shit. I
know. Yeah, okay. All right. He give you an education.
You know what I'm saying? I'm getting to my grown and sexy years, so I gotta listen to that music anyway.
Yeah, man. You might want to get in tune with it. You might want to get in tune with it, Nick.
What you know about that? You younger than me.
Hey, I mean, I'll be on it. I'll be on the older stuff, man. I'll be knowing.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead End Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth P. Inch. Joining me on the show, we got FIFO 24/7. What it do? Everybody else is damn like social distancing like a motherfucker, man.
Yes, sir.
We don't like y'all no more.
We got BZ430.
What up, though?
Shelton J.
What's happening?
Nikki Duce.
It's your boy.
And joining us, man, some of you guys may know him, some of you guys may not. But he's a part of Low Mid. They have a podcast on the Dead End Podcast Network. You can listen to it on the Dead End Hip Hop Podcast feed. We got Ra Mill in the building.
What's up, man? Nice to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
Yep. Hey, man, don't come on here talking crazy, man. And we hope you know what you're talking about.
For sure. That's why I wanted to come on. I'm gonna show you what I know.
All right.
You will get checked. Trust me.
Okay. I'm with it.
All right, good to have you, brother. So yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. But before we jump into the show, just want to let you guys know that FIFO, Nick, and I have a new thing that we're doing. It's called The League. It's a podcast.
It's a series, Cam. Get it right, man. Get the title right. It's a new podcast series called The League.
me, Ken, and Nick are in this Madden League online, and it's super dope. So we kind of give you updates. We bring people from the actual league on to talk. We're gonna have the Super Bowl champion of the past season. We talk strategy. We talk about how our teams have strengths and weaknesses. So it's like super dope because not only do you got to go out there and play every week, sometimes against the computer, sometimes against the people in the league, but you got to put that GM hat on. And I'm not going to front. I'm the best GM in the damn league.
All right.
I hear you, FIFA.
All right.
Hey, just look at my roster. You know what? Hey, follow me on Twitter, IG. I'm gonna post pictures of my roster tonight.
Oh,
Wait, question. Someone please ask FIFO. Just add him on the channel. What is his record? As
Yeah, I was
far
gonna
as
say,
when it comes to titles.
Look
What
at
is his
your
record in the
roster.
playoffs?
Your record.
Hey,
Look at his playoff record.
Hey, you didn't win last year, and you know what? I beat you head to head.
Hey,
I
was
want to know against you, but I want to know against you. That's all that matters.
That's regular season. All right.
But I want to know
cool.
against you. You in the NFC, I'm the AFC. People that know football know what we're talking about. I'm not always gonna play you, but when I played you, I beat you now. So stay over there. Stay on your side of the Zoom.
As we know from last week, FIFO care about winning more than titles. So we just gonna move on after that.
Hey, you know what? Because I need my bragging rights, bro. I need my bragging rights. I'm gonna come on here on my own platform and talk hella shit to you.
As you will and as you shouldn't at the same time. So go ahead.
All right, man. Let's get into it.
All right, I ain't gonna bury the lead as we usually don't do on the show. So I'm gonna get to the biggest topic that I know is on everybody's mind. Tom Thibodeau is the head coach of the New York Knicks. What's going on? All right.
I think that's a topic only you care about.
Is that only me? Okay. but since we on it, is this a good hire or a bad hire?
I think it depends on what you. Okay, I'm not a Knicks fan, bro. So for context, bro, I don't follow them, man. I'm not gonna lie.
But you know basketball, though, right?
I know basketball, so I know
right.
Tom Thibodeau coaching style, and I know he's a defensive-minded coach. And I think that if I don't know what the Knicks' struggles were last season, but I guess honestly, if that's what y'all struggles were, then I think he's a good hire. But me and my father saw through his Chicago Bull days, he wasn't a particularly gifted offensively minded coach when it came to that. When it came to offense, excuse me. So, I mean, I can't really say. It depends on what y'all roster is looking like and what's the strengths and weaknesses. But I mean, I think that at least for defense, he's a good hire.
Yeah, but you got to know what the roster looked like because that's a major.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
what New York has right now, they got some Tom Thibodeau pieces, but this league is not a Tom Thibodeau league. And at the end of the day, you got to be able to compete with what everybody else is doing. And if you're gonna go left when everybody's going right, you got to go big time left. But the thing about Tom Thibodeau, he's so offensively just inept that it's going to hinder what you have to do. Because at the end of the day, you got to score points. I know defense is a major component, and you have to play defense to win a title. However, you got to put up the points, and he is not offensively creative enough to make anything work. All he's going to do is run pick and roll. And I understand that the pick and roll is still a major facet of the game, but there's no ball movement with his offense. So now, depending on who his staff is, I could say, okay, maybe it's okay. But Tom Thibodeau is a recycled, we know what the hell you are type of coach. And I think at this point, if I was the owner, if I was any owner of the NBA, I would not hire Tom Thibodeau. If I was a GM, I would not hire Tom Thibodeau because we know what we're going to get. It's the same old song. He's going to run his players into the ground. They're going to be hurt because they play too much minutes. It's defense first. They're going to want to hold people to 90 when the league is averaging 110, 115. Like, it doesn't work. He's like the antithesis of D'Antoni. And I'll add to that. I think it's going to be to a detriment for RJ. I think RJ will not develop under Tom Thibodeau. I think that's going to be a problem. And y'all will have wasted another pick. And how many young players have really blossomed under Tom Thibodeau? I could give them 3. Luol Deng, Derrick Rose, and Jimmy Butler. Yeah. Outside of that, and those guys were like special, and they have major chips on their shoulder.
but like actually developing, like we see OKC, like we see Doc Rivers team stuff like we don't see that. Even Brad Stevens he gets the most squeeze out of a player. Tom Thibodeau literally squeezes the player, but they don't necessarily get better. They just give him all they got.
Right.
So I don't like it, man. It's not a good move.
Yeah, this may be the first few times that we're actually all in agreement. So you guys all laid out the logical and rational ways of why this isn't a good move. I'm gonna say it from a Knicks fan perspective. I hate this move. I hate this move because Mark Jackson is right there, and I feel like he's the kind of guy that if, like FIFO, you were saying, at least in my opinion, if you're gonna go left, go left. Go with the guy who has shown that he can develop players, superstar players at that too. Go with the guy who brings culture, especially a culture since he was a Knick. He knows what the city needs, and he's not scared to check anyone because he's got weight in the game. People respect Mark Jackson. For me, it's just like the Knicks are just doing, again, I don't know why I'm a fan of this team. I really don't. Maybe it's because I want to be able to pop champagne when they win a title and scream it at the mountaintop. But for me, it's just like the Knicks management, and I hate to say management because I think they're one of the only few management in the NBA that's like all black or predominantly black. So it's like I don't want to always scream their faults and whisper their praises, but it's hard for me to really justify this move. There's no reason. It's just the same way like when we got Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose in like 2015 or whatever. These are old, Tom Thibodeau is an old all-star in my eyes. Like he was good, but he ain't good for the league right now. He ain't good for a team right now. I've seen him when he has full control damage two franchises. So why do I think he's gonna do something well with the Knicks? Will the defense be better? Okay. Will that give us more wins? Probably not, because this is an offense league.
And then let's talk about even putting fans in the seats when we can obviously open up arenas. But now look at where the draft is going to head to, right? Like where you guys could potentially get LaMelo Ball. There's no way in hell you get LaMelo Ball now. You know what I'm saying? And we know that he's going to be box office. Yeah. We know that possibly Anthony Edwards can be box office. I don't know if that's a Tom Thibodeau, even the mentality and physicality. He plays like a football player on the basketball court. But like now the draft, now I don't know, man. Like like to your point, Ken, RJ Barrett, as tough as he is, I don't believe he's a Tom Thibodeau type of guy. I don't think he's going to progress under Tom Thibodeau like that. And I don't know, man. Nick, and to your point, I 100% agree. I'm not a Knicks fan, but obviously I'm a basketball fan. I don't think it's good for the league. And I hate to rag on Tom Thibodeau, but I've given Tom Thibodeau his praise when he was nice. With Chicago and all that. Y'all could run the footage. We was talking about that in sports back then. But at the end of the day, today, right now, with where the Knicks are as an organization, as a roster, he's not the guy.
Well, maybe, which, to play devil's advocate a little bit, maybe that's the point. He is not the guy, but maybe he's a setup guy. The Knicks are years away from winning anyway. They're not going to win right now anyway. Maybe you can bring him in and kind of teach some of those guys who don't play defense how to play a little bit of defense. Give RJ something he never had, which is a defensive coach to kind of guide him along in that way. Some of those guys, Randall, some of those guys, they never played defense in their life. So now to bring in a defensive coach, maybe that's the idea. Let me give them a little bit of a foundation of something that they did not have to kind of get them molded for the next coach. Maybe this is a setup hire to get to the next guy.
What tells me it's not a setup hire?
The 5-year deal. That's what I was going to say. The same thing.
It's not like it's a 1 year deal.
You're not going to get a 1 year. Like Tom Thibodeau does have an established record in the NBA. He has a winning record.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's not a setup.
Exactly. Thank you, B. Thank you. Like they're looking at, and just think about how delusional they were a season ago when they said that they believed they could make the playoffs. Who in the hell thought that they could make the playoffs? Even though, yeah, well, maybe.
You get a couple shots to do say me. I'll say anything.
But who the hell in their right mind really thought that the New York Knicks roster was good enough to play or make the playoffs? First of all, you're devoid of a star. You're devoid of a point guard. You got a guy that can get some buckets, and you got a utility guy, Julius Randle, and you got a rim defender, and I can't remember the center name. Yeah, Mitchell Robinson. But, and then you got to hold nice, just little pieces. Who's a light skinned guard? Big hair.
They let him go. I think you talking about ISO.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
so they let him go.
go.
Yeah, like what's the direction of this team, man? I knew that the direction of this team was in question, and there's no disrespect to this player. But when they signed Julius Randle, like is he really the type of player to add to that roster to build upon? And I know he's a 2010 guy, but is he the right guy to play next alongside Mitchell Robinson? And you don't have no point guard. I don't know.
Well, he was the only guy that was trying to sign with the Knicks at the time. So it was just like, we got to get somebody. We got all this money for a reason. It was supposed to go to Kyrie and KD, but
correct.
How much was his contract worth?
I think it was like an $80 million. I don't think it was like $100 million. It wasn't nothing too bad, but it was like, that's a lot.
I see why he went.
Yeah.
Well, of course he's gonna chase the best deal. But look, at the end of the day, I've always said this, right? Especially in basketball. You gotta draft. You're either gonna pay for your championship or you're gonna draft your championship.
Yeah.
And the Knicks have struck out so many times on trying to pay for a championship. So why keep doing the same thing? Be ass, go draft you Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, and then become a real contender. Then become a contender. But you're not gonna, for whatever reason, and I think we know the reason. I'm gonna be PC today. Nobody wants to sign there. So you're going to have to draft your guys and then pay them. RJ Barrett's a nice start. Who else you going to get? But you got to draft. And what does Tom Thibodeau? Tom Thibodeau don't like young players. He don't like rookies. He don't play them. He's not going to develop RJ like that. So I don't like it. The Knicks are a rebuilding franchise. You get a rebuilding coach. And Shelton, I feel like you're saying what you're saying because everybody's in agreement, but I don't feel like you really believe that.
No, I do. I kind of do. Like I said, I think that Mark Jackson, like for the reasons Nick said, I think Mark Jackson would have been a good hire because he is a Knick and he knows the Knick way. But evidently he's blackballed. So we got to stop expecting. I don't know what it's going to take to get him back in the league. But you know that those Golden State championships to me were his. But at the same time, he didn't start with a team from scratch like this. Like I said, you started from the ground up with this team. And I really do think they need some foundational development, especially on the defensive end. They gotta figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, the new leadership that's coming in, hopefully they're gonna start drafting better for their sake anyway. Not hopefully, like I'm a fan, Nick, but hopefully they'll start drafting a little better. But you gotta start somewhere, man. And I guess they were looking for something solid, but I'm tired of the retreads myself. I think that I would rather have hired a young coach to grow with the team.
But you know what, Shelton, to the point that you made, where Golden State was when they hired him, he was that fundamental coach. He was the guy that helped Steph Curry elevate as a point guard, not just a scoring, shooting, dynamo. He elevated as a point guard because of Mark Jackson. Klay Thompson, I think, is as tough as he is. Obviously, you got to have a little bit of toughness in you to make the NBA. But I think that Mark Jackson pushed those guys and got the most out of them to actually help them grow as basketball players, to understand the game defensively and offensively. Even though I said it several times, I think Mark Jackson is also offensively not creative because he's a point guard. You know what I'm saying? Point guards is just give me the ball. Send me a pick. I'm gonna do everything else. And you saw that with Steph, and it helped Steph. It helped Draymond. But for that Golden State Warriors team to make that next level, that championship level, not saying Mark Jackson couldn't have made it, but they were better off with Steve Kerr. But in the Knicks situation, Mark Jackson is the best candidate, in my opinion, because he does relate to young African-American men. Number one, first and foremost. So the culture in the locker room, to me, I think would be better. Every time you hear about Tom Thibodeau's culture in the locker room, it's pretty tense. And I'm not saying that tense can't be good. Obviously, it breeds competition. It breeds a necessity to go get it. But at the end of the day, this generation, a lot of those guys ain't like that. So you need somebody that can relate, somebody that's going to teach them the defense, somebody that's going to teach them the offense and things like that. So again, I just think Mark Jackson is the best one. New York continues to make blunder after blunder, and I don't believe in the brand. Look, you know what the last straw was for me? When they kicked Spike Lee out. Spike Lee?
Yeah, man.
Dang, bro, you bringing up.
How you gonna kick out? He's the most legendary Knicks fan they've ever had.
He's the most
what
loyal.
Are you talking about?
He's the most
He's the
loyal
most
Knicks
legendary Knicks fan of all time.
Yeah.
Without question. And I want to FIFO's point, I want to say, like, I didn't know that they had you said, Nick, you said they have an all black management team or the most black management team of the team.
Yeah, like I think they're president and GM.
Okay, I didn't know that. So that, honestly, I mean, that might explain a lot. Maybe honestly,
that explains it.
That might explain a lot, to be honest. If we're talking about just like ability for certain connections to maybe other opportunities that they may have been trying to reach, or maybe make better moves, that could have played a role in that. And to FIFO's point about Mark Jackson being the best coach, I definitely agree because of the respect factor. And I really think that's a strong enough foundation for him to be the best candidate, is just on pure respect that those guys will have for him. Like, they're going to be more likely to listen to him because of the experience he has and how promising he seemed to he thought he was going to be in Golden State when he put that team together. So they see a respect for him and a vision for him that I think that will go well, especially now that you told me that they have mostly a black management office. So I think that would be a great option for them.
I wonder if will y'all answer this for me, because I don't ever remember seeing them do it. Did Steph them give Mark Jackson a lot of credit for their success?
Mm-hmm. They gave him his praise for the most part, but not like they're not super outwardly saying like, oh yeah, he the reason why we won and not Steve.
Yeah,
but
Steph has said that on the record. Steph has said that on the record. So if the best player on that championship team says that has a lot of weight to those words.
What did he say again? I'm sorry.
Steph Curry said on the record that Mark Jackson is the foundation of why the Golden State Warriors are who they are and why they've won.
Facts.
Well, I'm glad. Hopefully one day he'll get a job. But as we move on to, I guess, the more interesting topics for most people outside of the New York area, we go into the Los Angeles area where we saw the matchup between the Lakers and the Clippers. B, what did you think about that game? What was it? Was it Saturday night?
I think it was Friday.
For Friday night?
It was Friday. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was, I'm just glad it was a good game. It was a very entertaining game. Interesting that, Lakers, I mean, it was their first I think it was their first real regular season game, you know what I'm saying? So, of course they kind of still rust. Clippers didn't have Lou Williams or Marcel. I think I'm saying Montrezl, yeah. They didn't have any of those two. That would have been really interesting if they'd have had those two guys, how would it fared out. But yeah, I feel like perimeter defense is kind of gonna be a thing that I'm gonna keep an eye on with LA. Low post defense, they're good there, but when it comes to those perimeter guys, man,
which LA you talking about? The Lakers?
I mean the Lakers, yeah. The Lakers. I'm worrying about, once they get down to them wings. And then of course, and I know you probably gonna like this point. Well, no, Anthony Davis, he did all right that first game. It was the last game I'm thinking about where he didn't step up at all in the fourth quarter. But
he didn't step up at all in the first game in the fourth quarter either.
But but definitely that second game.
Quarters, Anthony was eating.
Yeah, first three. I'm thinking of the second game. I'm thinking of the second.
That first one either. I think the first game he only had free throws in that fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and he didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He didn't play yet. It's like, this is a team that you're possibly going to go up against in the Western. That we're already pinning that this is going to be the Western Conference Finals matchup, and it's like, Anthony Davis, you look good throughout the first 3.5 quarters, and it's like, when it's money time, it's kind of like, all right, what the hell, what are you doing, AD? What are you doing? Step up. And I'm trying, y'all know how I am. I never put all my eggs in a basket off of one freaking game. You know what I'm saying? I got to see this progressing, or I got to see this multiple times for me to come up with like a verdict, because I don't get into that one game crap, like, oh my god, one game, look at this. But I think it was a good game, and I think LeBron, he did that one game, but will he be able to do that for a whole 7-game series the way defensively, the way he was on Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? Because there's going to be games where LeBron, he had a bad offensive game starting off. He kind of got it going in the second half, but LeBron didn't have his LeBron typical game. So that's another reason why I'm kind of like, well, you can take this game for what it is. But I'm just thinking of it as a 7-game series. It's like, if LeBron got to still have a good offensive output, because him and Anthony Davis, it seems like they have to both put up damn near 30 for it to be like all right, Lakers got this. And if LeBron is he going to exert all that energy on the offensive end and on the defensive end like that on Kawhi and Paul George? That's going to be tough in the 7-game series, man, especially at this. It'd be different if this was year 8 LeBron, but we're talking about year 17 LeBron. It's going to be difficult, man. I'm worried about that for the Lakers, but it's one game. I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh yeah, Clippers is favorite just because they didn't have Lou Williams and such and all that. So like I said, LeBron didn't really have a typical game that he's supposed to have. And I think the bench didn't really step up like they should. So, it's going to be a dogfight, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yo, B, what's the crazy part about this?
What
is that I like when I watch them play, the AD in terms of like being the Robin to LeBron's Batman is just a 7-foot Kyrie. Where like Kyrie does come up a big and clutch moment. So
I'm about to say he ain't Kyrie.
In the fourth quarter, yeah.
Clutch.
You know what I'm saying? Kyrie does come through the clutch, one of the most clutch players in the NBA in history, right? But when you look at how much LeBron still has to do, and AD is considered a top 5 player in the NBA, for them to win, it's just like golly, like what, like outside of D Wade, that one year he was like really in his physical prime. LeBron hasn't had a guy nowhere near impactful on a squad as D Wade, and like outside of coming up big or playing better in the fourth quarter, obviously that's huge, right? Like you got to close out games, but I don't understand why AD just struggles so much.
And then what's crazy, FIFO, is like, it's a mismatch. He is a mismatch for them.
Yeah.
Like you got to. I mean, I'm not saying turn into Shaquille O'Neal in the post, but damn it, you should be like kind of on that block a little more often when you got Kawhi on you or Paul George. Like, dude, you're supposed to be bigger and stronger than them, though. You gotta put pressure on them defensively. Make them foul you. Get them in foul trouble. Like, do something, but don't be, standing in the baseline and just fading back every damn time. Like,
and B,
use your size.
Yeah, use your size, man. Because matchup, and I'm thinking of matchup. I'm thinking of playoff matchups, because playoff is about matchups and coaching. Like AD gotta become a matchup problem for Clippers, man. Especially, and then like I said, they didn't have Montrez as well. He should have been trying to eat down low. Like,
but he ain't that dude. He ain't that dude. He's clearly not that dude. How many times have we said like AD, bro? It's a mismatch. You can eat down low. It's easy buckets. You can still get your 32 in the easier way, and he don't do that. And it's not us just saying it. It's probably LeBron saying it too, bro. You got good, like you have a mismatch in the post. I can be up top. Let me run. I'm literally running point. I moved out of the whole area just for you to eat. He averaged in the 4 games that they met, as far as the Clippers, he's only scored 10 total points in the fourth quarter. Like, are you serious?
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
That's unacceptable. Now that's unacceptable.
Maybe they should change how they plan him in the fourth. I don't know if he starts the fourth on the bench and comes off late or what, but maybe they need to flip it up and get him in there a little early or something like that to get it. I'm just throwing out any idea that I can.
Because it was a time in the game, Shelton, where they, he was resting from like the 8-minute mark probably, and they put him back in like the 5, like to close it out. And when you put him, when you go back in the game with like 4 minutes left to go after resting in the fourth quarter,
that's money time.
You should be ready.
There you go, people. It's money time. Like
that's when the game starts. Yeah. And the thing about it is that the thing about the Lakers, man, that I noticed in that game and in games going forward, and I saw I even saw somebody say it in the chat. I was about to say it, is the 3-point shooting that they don't have. Like they don't have. You talked about perimeter players a little bit. They don't have on defense, but on offense they don't have it either. So if LeBron is not doing LeBron things and AD ain't getting his buckets like he's supposed to, who is that person that they can go to get a big bucket? They don't have it. They don't have a person that can hit a big shot right now on the outside like that. JR ain't it. Dion is. I mean, him and Dion is who they are, but they're not it.
I think Dion is a good possibility, and Kuzma is either hit or miss, honestly, because Kuzma can hit some big shots, but he's hit or miss.
I think, like I said, I think they need him to do it more consistently, and they don't have that consistent score that can make a bucket when they need it. They don't have that person to do that. So that's what's going to kill the Lakers. Period.
I have a question. What do y'all think about the theory that Shannon Sharp proposed, where he said that it seems like there's this formula where LeBron will make a concerted effort to get AD in the game and in tune and in the rhythm early on in the game?
I saw that.
Be the anchor and bring it home. What do y'all think of that theory? Because
it's not a theory. That's how LeBron plays with any
fact.
big man. He's treating AD as a glorified Kevin Love. AD is a glorified Chris Bosh. He's a big man who LeBron has made him forced to make perimeter shots because LeBron likes to go to the hole. However, you would think that LeBron would want to switch up his style of play because now he's running point. But on top of that, AD's best mismatch area, best area for the Lakers to succeed is in the post because no one's really playing big ball anymore. As you can see with the Houston roster
in New Orleans.
But see, that's what that's a good question. What I think is exactly what you just said.
You want to use New Orleans as an excuse? Like New Orleans?
No, not as an excuse. I'm asking about like his game in New Orleans.
Exactly.
Was it primarily in the post?
I think it was 50-50 in New Orleans though. He could get the ball at the top. He liked to shoot. He like AD in his brain is a guard. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You got to kind of make him play in the post. It's kind of like what they're trying to force. And like you said, LeBron is forcing it to him. And he done that to other players too. The difference is AD is supposed to be the man. AD is supposed to be carrying him. So unlike Chris Bosh and Kevin Love, who are complementary players to LeBron in his prime, AD is supposed to be that top dog. So he's trying to work him so hard that he's taking himself out of a rhythm, trying to get AD into a rhythm.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's happening to him.
I know I want you to go, but Shelton said something very powerful. Like AD in his brain, his basketball brain is a point guard. It's not Shaq. Shaq, from the moment he stepped on the basketball court, was bigger, stronger, faster, more dominant physically than anybody else that he was playing against, right? Just like even if we look at football, Adrian Peterson, always the most physically dominant guy on the football field. You could tell that, right? Because even LeBron, the mentality, Zion, the mentality of those guys is I'm going to dominate you because they know they've been able to do it their whole life. AD grew to what he was. What was it, like his senior year of high school? He was like 5'11". He went to like 6'9", 6'10".
Overnight.
Like
It's crazy.
So mentally, he's not there. And I think there's something that you got to work on. LeBron, I think, had similar in the post, because obviously he was always physical. He always was able to take contact, but going to the basket. But with his back to the basket, he wasn't as comfortable. And I think that AD just – how many years AD been in the league now? 8?
Like, 7 or 8.
9, something like that.
It's time.
It's time, but it's not who he is.
He's not that dude.
Yeah, and go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm thinking, and we're talking about fourth quarters, but I think we're talking about fourth quarters as a Laker, right? Not as a player historically in his career. So when I just think about and just listening to you guys, and I'm thinking about AD, it's maybe it's Vogel, maybe it's playing with LeBron in the fourth quarter because he's such a dominating presence. Maybe LeBron hasn't went to him and said, "Look, remember how Wade passed the torch to LeBron?" Maybe LeBron hasn't done that to AD.
No, he has.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
From the beginning.
Wait. No,
I thought it was all the way around. I thought AD was challenging LeBron to do more.
No, AD was challenging LeBron to be a first team all defense or all defensive team. Like he wanted LeBron to pick it up on defense.
Okay.
But LeBron wanted AD to, I thought
that was the plan. When they signed him, you gonna carry these championships.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the Robin to your Batman, really, because AD is the young upstart and LeBron is the old elder statesman.
He was gonna give him his number. All that was in that. All that was passing the torch.
And that's why I don't want you to take that pressure off of AD, Ken, because you talking about Vogel and everybody. Nah, AD's supposed to be like FIFO said, a top 5 player. Top 5 players don't average 10 points or like 2 points a game against the team that you're supposed to beat in the West to get a title. Like, come on, bro. The fourth quarter matters because that's the money time. That's money time. That's where you end. Like the fact that LeBron had to guard 2 of the best players for them to win that game, and AD, all he contributed to was 2 points. That's sickening, bro. They not winning nothing like that. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Because like you said, they barely beat the Clippers without Lemon Pepper Lou and Montrezl Harrell. Like, come on. Those two are easily making up at least 5 to 15 points.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So Nick, I got something to go with them lemon peppers. Let's get drunk a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's play the what if game.
Oh, you already know I've been drinking, so yeah.
Okay. Bet. Pour it up. But who do you think would be the best Robin to LeBron's Batman in the league? My theory, I'm gonna go. Yes, right now. My theory, I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna set the stage for everybody else. I think it's Dame Lillard, and I have several reasons. I think that Dame Lillard is even more clutch than Kyrie. Kyrie's just done it on a bigger stage. But I think time and time again, from the moment that Dame Lillard stepped on a basketball court, he was the guy. You know what I'm saying? He's been a better leader than any other small guard. I would say CP, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about from a scoring perspective as well. You know what I'm saying? I think that Dame Lillard is not going to defer to LeBron in terms of, it's just your team. Dame is like, I'm going to go get buckets. I don't know what you're about to do. When it comes down to the fourth quarter and they're going to put the ball in somebody's hand, it's going to be Dame Lillard's hand. I think that, again, leadership, locker room, being able to be on LeBron's level. We've seen Dame go through spurts where he's literally unguardable. Like, the only other player to do the same stuff that he was doing through like a month stretch was Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? We've seen this man single-handedly drag the Blazers playoff appearance after playoff appearance after playoff appearance. Kyrie has yet to do that. And LeBron won a championship with Kyrie. Kyrie could never be the leader of a franchise. And I don't think he's going to be with the Nets. But Dame Lillard from day one has been that. And I think you pair that up with LeBron, that's multiple championships, even over AD.
I'm going to stay in the same position category, but I'm going to go with, because of LeBron's window right now, since I tried to clarify as far as you saying right now, I think Chris Paul will be the best suited guy for him, because LeBron like vets, and not to say Dame ain't a vet, but LeBron like vets and he likes relationships. As you can see, that's why he went to Miami with Dwayne Wade. So to me, Chris Paul is just up there, if not maybe his more best friend than Dwayne Wade. And Chris Paul has shown that he changes culture and he's been a leader of franchise. Look what he's doing at OKC, when no one ever thought that Chris Paul could take a team like that into the playoffs, let alone in the playoffs in the West, let alone not even a 6 or 7 and 8 seed, but a 6 seed, like a respectable seed. So I think LeBron and Chris Paul will show that his dominance as far as him controlling, because LeBron is a point guard in his mind, just a more successful point guard in his mind than AD is. So LeBron respects point guards. That's why he like Rondo. That's why he likes certain type of players that have that mindset that can see the whole floor and make plays. I think Chris Paul would be a brilliant pairing with LeBron if it was
the only thing about CP is he gets hurt.
I'm just saying, like, if ideally healthy, a healthy CP. He ain't hurt this year, so like if he was with him this year, I'd rather have Chris Paul than AD.
What about attitude if that pairing was to happen? Do you think ego would be a problem with Chris Paul and LeBron, even though they're friends, but on the basketball court, they very much have that same take control mentality?
Not at this point in their careers, because they both trying to just get more titles, especially Chris Paul. He's trying to more solidify his legacy as a top 5 point guard all time.
Yeah.
So, and that's LeBron James. Like, Chris Paul ain't gonna say nothing to LeBron. Like, that's not only that's his a good friend of his, but he recognizes him as probably one of the best players, if not the best player in the league. So it's like you just got to respect that off the cuff. And then LeBron's going to do the same to him because of the time and effort that Chris Paul is putting in his career, and you got to respect that. So it's just like, to me, the respect level is easy. Once you start with that as the foundation, you can't do nothing but build, and that's what the Lakers need, is stability, specifically at the point guard position, because LeBron had to literally move positions just to justify or just to make this whole system work.
Weren't there talks about Damian Lillard possibly going to the Lakers like a year ago or something like that?
Dame ain't leaving Portland.
No, I'm saying, like, but when they're like, I heard that conversation, or am I tripping?
Nah, you're. I think the idea was floated out there as a rumor, but it wasn't really feasible. I think it was kind of like in this scenario, it was, a what if scenario situation. But I will say this: Kyle Kuzma is not happy in LA.
He's not.
He don't look happy. He look kind of like
he is not happy in LA, and I'm not going to say he wants out, but I can tell you he is not pleased in LA, and that could be a problem, moving forward.
But he has played.
He's supposed to be their third guy,
so
right?
if he keep playing well like he did in the first game, shit might stay good.
Nah, he's not. He's not. And I said this. I said this from the beginning. Kyle Kuzma does not fit with the direction of AD and LeBron.
Nah,
he's just not a natural fit because Kyle Kuzma is a smaller four, and that's what AD is. And AD is a better version of it. Kyle Kuzma is not a knockdown shooter. He can shoot, but he's not a knockdown shooter. Kyle Kuzma needs more the ball in his hands to be effective. And obviously, when you got AD and LeBron, you're not gonna have the ball in your hand like that. You need to be catch and shoot type player. 1-2 dribbles, that's it. That's what you're getting. You know what I'm saying? So Kyle Kuzma just does not fit. And even when they try to give him the whole second unit, he's not the type. He's not even a Dion Waiters. He's not a bucket getter. He's not a volume scorer. He's not Lou Williams. So how does he fit? Yeah. And then the other issue is he's on his rookie deal because he is valuable. He can play, but to get equal or better chemistry with another basketball player on that roster, who are you going to trade him for? Because you can't get he's not, from a monetary perspective, he's not valuable. So it's a problem. It's a cluster F.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? The Kuzma situation. What up?
Did the Lakers, when the Pelicans and Lakers made that deal, did the Pelicans want it Kuzma over? I mean,
they did.
Over Kuzma.
Yeah, they would have took him, but to make the deal work, they was like, okay, Lakers, you could keep him.
Right, he was supposed to be in that deal.
Man,
why do you ask, B?
No, I'm just thinking like, man, what if they would have kept Brandon Ingram and Kuzma went over?
Brandon Ingram will be just like Kuzma. He'll be upset.
Right.
Think so?
He'll be the same thing.
That's what I was going to ask next. Do you think his development would have still been kind of at the pace that we're seeing with Kuzma and not as fast as we're seeing with New Orleans?
It definitely would have been the same thing.
Yep.
I mean,
hell no.
Wait, hold on. You think Brandon Ingram?
It would have been what I mean, it would have been the same thing as it was with the Lakers. Not what it is now. That's not what I was saying. I'm saying it would have been the same as it was last year. How it was with him with the Lakers, how he was more of a frustrating player because he couldn't get off and he couldn't do much. He was so inconsistent.
I don't know.
Here's the thing, Ken. Question. You know how you like to do this. Yes or no? Would Brandon Ingram average 20 points a game on this roster?
Yes.
Hell no.
Yes.
Hell
on this current LA roster?
Oh, he would not.
Not even close.
LA roster?
He would be barely averaging 16, 17.
Yeah.
16, 17.
I mean,
how?
Can the opportunity look at how New Orleans uses this guy?
Okay,
Look at how New Orleans uses this guy and the chemistry that they have with that roster.
I can't stand Brandon Ingram. I ain't gonna lie.
Huh?
I said I can't stand Brandon Ingram. I ain't gonna lie. That dude shoot the ball so much. Y'all know how I feel about
he's a volume scorer, Ken.
Right.
LeBron and AD is number 1, 2, and 3 in terms of options.
Correct.
Brandon Ingram needs the ball to create to get his own shot.
Yeah.
He's not a catch and shoot guy, just like how Kuzma is.
You don't think he would have gotten this opportunity?
I think Kuzma's better at it though.
Nah.
Nah.
Brandon Ingram's a better player.
Right. Huh?
I think he's better at catching and shooting than Brandon Ingram is.
Nah, he's not.
Oh, okay. That's what you're saying.
He's still not.
Yes, he is. Yes, I think he is. We haven't seen enough evidence to suggest that he's better than Kyle Kuzma at catching and shooting. They're both not great at it, but I think he's better than Ingram.
I think so too.
Look, B.I. is a better player than Kyle Kuzma. I am on record on this show of telling you guys B.I. was ready last year, towards the end of the year when he was balling. You dismissed it, and other people dismissed it.
Which is why
that being said,
I said, which is why he about to be most improved player now, Ken.
Which is why he flourishing. So I think that confidence that he had carried over into the Pelicans. And I think he would have more opportunities as a third scorer on this team. It would have been 1, 2, B.I. would have been third. And especially if you give him the second unit, like they tried to give Kyle Kuzma, because he's a better player than Kyle Kuzma, he would do more with the second unit than Kyle Kuzma is currently.
But you know what? There. Hold on, Shelter. There is a thing as B.I. Even if you started, like, there's certain players that just play better starting, and there's some players that can play off the bench, and it's a mindset. And I don't think Brandon Ingram, first and foremost, is a bench guy.
No,
he's a starter in the NBA.
He would have started.
He has to start.
He would have started at the 2.
But he wouldn't have got a rhythm early in the game.
At the 2?
Or what? Yeah,
the 3.
LeBron starting at point, right?
Yeah, Brandon Ingram ain't that kind of shooter. Brandon Ingram, he is what he is. And I don't
Brandon
know what
Ingram's
that
a
is.
scorer. He's a scorer. You don't know. You can put him at. You can put him from 2 to 4. He could be shooting guard, small forward, or power forward. He can score. But
what is he taking, like 20-something shots a game now?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, but that's as like the number one option.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm gonna tell you. Well, are we planning on talking about the Pelicans tonight, Nick?
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
All right,
okay.
Well, I'll hold it.
So here's the thing, Ken. Like, I'll give you a prime example. With Anthony Davis and LeBron James, Bradley Beal is the perfect complement to what they do. Bradley Beal will average 20, if not more, in that trio because of his game and his play style. He don't got to take many dribbles. And when he does take dribbles, he can finish at the rim. He got pull-up game, mid-range, right? He can play off the ball. He moves.
You're talking about BI's game right now.
Right now.
As a Pelican.
Yes. Bradley Beal will score and average more points with the trio of LeBron and AD than BI, AD, and LeBron.
Yeah.
Because of style of play.
Yes.
BI is talented, but with the way that LeBron and AD play, he's the odd man out. That's why chemistry and the right fit and personnel is so important. That's why I think that, like, point forwards are invaluable. Guys like Draymond that don't have to score, affect the game. That's why I love Zion so much. You ain't got to run no play for that man. That man going to get a rebound goal, throw behind the back, pass to his point guard. Run the floor and catch a 40-foot alley-oop.
LeBron loved BI. BI was his
but
his
he
boy.
Can't fit. But Ken, personal relationship on a basketball court, it don't matter.
But it wasn't. It was more than just personal relationship too. It was also about his game, his ability as a player.
But you can respect somebody's game, but it doesn't mean that it meshes with my game, and it don't mesh with AD and Bron.
If anything, it probably would mesh with AD coming into the situation. I'll probably give you that a little bit. But it seemed to work fine with LeBron when AD wasn't there last year.
LeBron and BI, there's too much pressure on BI to be this championship co-star. But in the situation he is with the Pelicans, he can grow to become that natural scorer on a championship team. It's not expedited. And what I keep telling y'all about basketball players in progress, you can't expedite the process. You got to go through the 3 to 5 years. It has to go like that. LeBron needs a guy that can win right now. You ready right now?
Why did he take his ass to LA if that was the case?
Because he wanted to be in LA. It was lifestyle over everything.
And then he was able to lure AD to that same lifestyle.
Lifestyle over everything. He wants to win right now.
You know what it sounds. You know what it sounds like, Ken? It sound like he don't know whatever. It sound like LeBron didn't know what mind he wanted to make up when he went to LA.
No, like, he just wanted his cake and eat it too. That's all.
You can't, and that's why there's a saying that you can't do that.
I'm gonna talk like I'm LeBron James. I'm LeBron James. I've been at 9 finals. The championship go through me. I don't care about these other 9 guys on the damn court with me. We can go to the finals. Get me the guys. Even if it's not this year, I understand we young. Get me some guys and we gonna win some damn championships.
And
you know my name. Spell it out. The chosen one.
And I'm gonna talk to you like Jay. I'm gonna talk to you like Jay-Z. Is it Uchiwali or is it one mic? You can't have it both ways. All right. You either you want to win now or you want to win for a long time with AD. But it sounds like you just want to win right now. So it's like, why, if you wanted to win right now, why did you go to LA? And if you're going to LA, you should understand the consequences that can happen if things don't go right. And right now, things aren't halfway decent because they still got to make up for last year when they didn't even make the playoffs at all when he said he was activated. Don't act like people forgot about that because I still remember it. So I don't know if he's still activated from last season or not. But they got the number 1 seed this season.
Was last season an injury-ridden season, or was that the season before?
That was last year. He got injured and he got hurt.
So yeah, I mean, for context, he might have been activated, but he got hurt, and a lot of their players at the same time got hurt.
So then don't talk about stuff that you ain't really about. Don't say you activated with enough time to get you to the playoffs, and they didn't win those games, so they didn't get into playoffs. And then now I'm supposed to be like, oh, that didn't matter. That was a different LeBron. This is the LeBron for real. They got the number 1 seed. They're gonna win the title. Nah, they not. Because AD ain't that dude. like we want him to be
You're
dominant.
tripping.
I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know
You
right now.
tripping.
I'm keeping it in a bundle.
Time out.
I'm
You
keeping it in a
tripping.
bundle. I'm keeping it in a bundle.
You tripping. You tripping. Tripping.
AD ain't that dude. FIFO told me a superstar. FIFO told me a superstar. Superstars average more than 2 points in the fourth quarter. I'm sorry, bro. I don't show me any superstar that you want to talk about.
Hold up. I'm on BZ's side with it though. I mean, we have to have more data to really go that to make that kind
what
of
data. That on who? That on who?
Already, these are regular season games. We haven't even seen him in the playoffs yet. How you know he? How you know he will progress and get better in the playoffs?
So then, why am I expecting them to be a champion with the number one seed if these are just regular season games? You win these regular season games to be a number one seed to show that your dominance. So now these regular season games don't matter. They don't matter now because they played over 60 games. At this point in time, AD has a resume of being a top player. FIFO said he's top 5.
You disagree?
Why do I have how much time do I need to see you to be dominant for you to be dominant? It shouldn't take that long. PG-13 came back and almost won the game. I was telling everybody in the chat before they lost, the game was rated PG-13. You know what I'm saying? He was just balling.
Okay, and I'll say on that. Even go ahead, Cam. Go ahead.
No. You got it. You a guest.
Appreciate it. Now I was going to say, even to that point, the criticism of Paul George is that what does Skip say? He turns into George Paul. So you gonna say that because like he's averaging these points in the fourth quarter? Okay, yeah, that's not sufficient evidence to suggest that he'll do better in the playoffs. But what I'm saying is, until I see him in the playoffs, he's still shown to be he's still overall the decision to get AD has paid off. To me, it has paid off.
Paid off. I gave up a number 2 overall pick. I gave up 2 number 2 overall picks.
You saying that they're not a good team? That's what you sounded like. You saying
no?
That
I said they're not winning the title. I didn't say nothing, but they obviously are a good team. They're the number 1 seed in the West, but they're not good enough to win a title with AD as being his Robin. If AD is supposed to be the big Kyrie,
did you have them as the number 1 seed coming into the season?
I did not.
Okay.
You had
what does that mean? I already said that they're a good team.
Who did you have as your number 1 seed? I'm curious.
I don't think I seeded them like that. I just didn't think they were going to be number 1. Yeah, I mean, I'll default to the Clippers, but I don't remember putting in the order. If I did have the order, it don't matter now. They're number 1 seed.
So you know how we're talking about.
Oh, no, it does matter. Because it's a historical record of you making an analysis of the season, coming off a season where you criticize LeBron for not going to the playoffs and being hurt, and this so-called activation thing you were talking about. You held that against him, and then we're looking at a season where he's healthy, and we're seeing the results of that as the number 1 seed. So yes, what you said does matter.
Ken, let me ask you a question. Am I questioning LeBron or am I questioning AD?
Both.
I'm questioning AD.
You started out with LeBron because you were talking about activated, and AD wasn't there last year.
No, I'm saying everything LeBron is doing this year is to make up for last year, because last year he said he was activated.
The championship go through me, baby. It don't matter the roster.
The championship. He wanted to prove him wrong as well, and he was saying he was an old man, and he wanted to prove people that Renee saying him wrong too. So that was a part of it as well.
How does the championship go through him when he didn't even participate in the dance last year? And then on top of that,
9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Because now he's playing good.
And what happened to
right back to the conversation.
What happened the last time he was in the conversation? What happened the last time he was in the playoffs? What happened in the finals?
I'm still the one entity. I'm still the one entity outside of an organization that goes to the dance when I want to go to the dance.
Okay.
All right. Well, anyway.
All right. That don't make no damn sense because he said he was activated last year. He wanted to go to the dance. He had a ticket.
Hold on. Let's stay here just for a little bit longer.
He couldn't get past the security gate.
I like the temperature. So look, you know how we were talking about Kuzma, BI. You know the player that they should have kept and it would have worked with LeBron and AD?
You gonna say Josh Hart?
Lonzo. Because Lonzo, 100%.
I thought Josh Hart for real.
Lonzo. Did y'all not see what he was shooting from 3 before the break? Did you not see that the last month of the season that he was averaging 22, 8, and 8? Did y'all not see that?
But see, we're giving credit to the players after that. These players are developing and blossoming after they leave LA.
But
no. Would have been that when they were there.
But it's not just that. It's not just that. What's my theory?
What FIFO's saying don't really matter because the data has shown that when LeBron was with Lonzo and all them, Lonzo ain't do nothing. He looked like
That's
a
my
bust.
point.
The only
That's why they
person that
traded
played
him.
well, the only person that ended up playing well that was Bi.
And they still traded him, so he wasn't playing that well.
No,
Right,
no, he
otherwise
was playing. They traded him because he was playing so well that they realized
had to
that
be.
he was the one that they needed to get.
Again,
because he
And that was when
valuable.
LeBron was hurt when he
if
started playing.
if you're able to get traded, you're not that important to the team. That's all I gotta say.
It's just you're not.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know.
What kind
I'm
of-
just saying.
B.I. was
If
a
they-
That's the
B.I.
most
was a bust.
asinine logic
Brandon
I've ever
Ingram was a
heard in my
bust until
life.
LeBron got hurt.
How is that not logical? If you're important to the team,
So you saying
stay.
AD wasn't
I'm about to
valuable
say,
because he
how
got
bad do
traded?
you want AD? How bad do you want AD? Basically,
Exactly. Is AD worth is keeping BI worth not having AD? No, it's no question. So that's why you let BI go. He's not that important.
No.
That's the whole
But in reverse, Nick, if you're gonna trade AD, you want to get somebody that can damn near equal the value of AD. And you can only do that with the value of BI. Come on, man.
But the only reason why they traded AD is because AD said he wanted to go LA. We already know this story. Why are we acting dumb? Like we don't know how
because you're trying to flip the narrative to make it seem like AD can't play, like his value wasn't there.
I'm literally
and that's
just
why they traded him.
I'm talking about what actually happened. AD said he wanted to go to LA. LA said they wanted AD. The Pelicans said we need this, that, and the third for this to make sense. LA said okay. That means the players that LA gave up was worth.
You only highlighted one side of the. You only highlighted one side.
What am I highlighting?
Hold on. But you're saying that BI's isn't valuable. That's why he was traded for AD, and I'm saying he is extremely valuable to the Pelicans because in order to make that deal work, they absolutely needed to get BI, and we have a whole season of evidence to show that value that they saw in him, that 3 to 5 that FIFO was talking about, has manifested itself into a most improved player in the league.
And this is what I'm going to say to you. Again, if BI was that important, he'd be on the team. And again, I'm going back to my main point.
That makes absolutely no sense. If AD was that important, oh my God, never mind.
No, it does. It does make sense.
Never mind,
AD.
Nah, forget it.
My whole point was the whole point is about AD.
It's about AD. Man. I'm not doing this with you tonight.
Because y'all keep changing the argument. I'm talking about AD. Y'all talking about LeBron now. I don't even know how we got on Brandon Ingram.
We were talking about BI. I was talking about BI and his value. And then I don't know.
He ain't that valuable to the Lakers. Otherwise, he would have been on the Lakers. That's all I'm trying to say.
Let me ask y'all. Let me ask y'all this because I think this would be a good way to kind of talk about the NBA in general. But what was y'all takeaway from this weekend, this opening weekend of NBA coming back?
I think the players was ready to play. I saw a lot of passion. I saw a lot of effort in the games that I watched because all the games were good. I really liked that. And for us as fans who have starved so long to see it, and for them as players who I'm sure have been starving to play, it was really good to see them. I've seen them. I saw more competitive spirit than I've seen in a lot of regular season games before the pandemic started. So it seemed like they were very motivated. The bubble format, I guess, is their best option right now. They don't really have anything else. But I'm hyped for the rest of the basketball season after this open weekend.
I agree with you on that. I think that this has been, for a season that's marred by asterisk, I think this has been some of the best basketball.
He gonna keep saying that.
Man, this has been some good basketball, man. And I'm gonna tell you my surprise real quick. Y'all can tell me y'all surprise team, but not really my surprise team, but because I mentioned it before. But Toronto is playing some ball, man. They playing some ball. They made the Lakers look kind of average the other day, and I was really shocked. And you talk about defense. That team is playing defense. So, that goes to show you that defense still can win in this league because they shut them boys down.
And Shelton, I got 2 points to make. One, thanks for patting yourself on the back for picking Toronto. And two, I do agree that Toronto and Boston, for that reason,
Boston look good.
Are the two. I don't know why don't people talk about them more as far as coming out the East. But the way Boston, I know B was talking about us in the chat about that Boston-Portland game. To me, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, I said it on Twitter. They the Marlon and Sean Wayans of the NBA. All right, they just a good package. All right,
Yeah,
just
bro.
a good
Yeah,
package.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with Shelton 100%. That was one of my takeaways from this weekend is that I think we better start putting respect on Toronto Raptors' name. I know myself included. But going into this season, before this season, I was looking at the Raptors as a 3, 4, at worst 5 seed. But man, the way those guys play great team defense,
The Alchemist for real.
and man, and like the way they still playing, I didn't even know that their record was better now than it was last year when they won the championship. So
Right.
it's
Wow.
like I think that's what I'm saying.
What
I
does
think
that
I
say
said this.
about
I
Kawhi?
think I said this in the chat. Yeah, I think I said this in the chat.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, the coach for OKC or the coach for Toronto, I think is my two candidates for coach of the year. Just because those are the two teams that I thought that were kind of like dead in the water, or that was kind of like flatlining, like they was gonna be that middle of the road playoff team coming into this season, and they are proving me completely wrong, man. Especially OKC. But yeah, Toronto, I think we got to put respect on their name, and don't be surprised, if they get some motivation and they come out and we might have another Milwaukee versus Toronto in the Eastern Conference Finals again. And don't be surprised if Toronto might shock the world. They might shock it probably. So
Didn't they beat somebody else beside the Lakers?
Who did they beat?
Did they beat Milwaukee? Who did they play?
Yeah, who else did they play?
I forgot who else they played.
I thought it was a good team.
Well, they just played Miami today. They beat Miami today.
Oh, yeah.
They beat Miami
Which
today.
is the top Eastern Conference team. Okay.
Yeah,
Miami's good.
They beat Miami today. Yeah, like Toronto been playing nothing but top-notch teams, and they put them boys to sleep. So I just think we just need to put respect on it. I'm not saying, they about to win championship. I'm just saying we just got to start like putting, because the media don't really talk about them. Like they just been quiet.
Only when they beat the Lakers.
Yep.
They probably won't talk about that Heat win.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it's like
they beat New Orleans.
They beat Utah, and Serge had 27.
Yep, that's what I'm saying, man. So
that's old. Hold on, I'm sorry.
I think we gotta put respect on Toronto's name, man. Like that's all I'm saying. I think we just gotta put respect on it. So
I'll add one more head coach to that list that you had, be the head coach of Memphis, for them to even be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think
that's a good pick. That's a good choice too. And then another takeaway is Harden. I guess him and his little grudge match with Giannis. Harden played some defense. Actually, like the last minutes of that game, like Harden was really playing. I think this is the first time I can remember that I've seen Harden like focus defensively
and lock in.
It was like yes. In. Yeah. I was like, I was, and I don't know if it was because he was playing Giannis, but that was the first time I've seen that.
I think it was, and I was going to say that game too. I'm glad you mentioned that, B, because I was going to say, man, I don't see how Houston doing it with no size. I just don't see how they won that game.
They shoot 63s.
They shot. That's exactly what they did, man. Because they were out-rebounded by like.
I'll tell you guys how.
They had 1 million open threes. 1 million. They should have won that game because they had 1 million open threes.
Go ahead, Ken.
If I'll tell you how, Shelton. James Harden. And I think, like, we know he has to get credit for this. If it was anybody else that was a little bit more high profile, that played in a different style, then people would be talking about it. But what they're doing and the games that they're winning and the teams that they're beating, that man should get some credit for that. More credit than I think he's getting. It's James Harden and Russell Westbrook, and that's it.
They both won MVPs as individuals. What do you mean? What more credit do you get than that in the NBA?
Because what I hear is when I hear people talking about, like Shelton was like, I don't see how they're doing it. And it's just just the same way that LeBron is able to find ways to win games with damn near anybody you put on the court, James Harden, it seems like he's somewhat doing the same thing. Same thing with Russell Westbrook.
So you know what I mean?
But that's even more of like I said, if you said this in a traditional sense, I would be okay. But I'm saying you out there with like all guards. I mean, now don't get me wrong. PJ Tucker been one of my favorite players since he was at Texas.
And he got hustled. He got hustled.
Oh my gosh, and he's strong. He's strong as an ox. But to watch them boys, I saw one particular instance where, Milwaukee was just tapping the ball around each other above it, like like playing with your little brother.
No height.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, there's no way that they're still in this game. And to come back and win it, they just deserve all the credit in the world. You're right, it's James Harden for sure. Now, Russell played good too.
Russell played good.
He has played good, but James Harden and the Rockets were balling last year without Russell Westbrook, right?
But here's the thing. Yeah. So I feel this about this NBA season, and especially about the Houston Rockets, because that's the first people I was going to go to. I feel validated. I was one of the very first. No, for real. Run the tape. I know when I be right. Everybody, and I was gonna go to what you were saying, Ken, because you're saying like James Harden isn't getting the credit because at the beginning of the season, everybody was writing the Rockets off of, oh wow, James Harden and Russell Westbrook going to play together. Simple, the same way they did in OKC. Sure. James Harden is just way better now than what he was at OKC. And everybody had questions, and I said, bro, they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to push people. I don't know if it's going to win a championship. It looks better now than with Clint Capella. I didn't predict that. But everybody had a question about how's it going to work. What do you mean how's it going to work? You got two great players, ball handlers that attack the basket and have an offensive ferocity and skill set that it's hard to overcome. So what are we talking about? So I think it was the narrative at the beginning of the season that has impacted the accolades and the praise that James Harden should be getting right now. And he's getting it right now, but throughout the season, it was more question mark than anything. And he deserved. Y'all for real?
Well, let me tell you why I questioned it, FIFO. Just like anything else, it was too many MCs and not enough mics is what I thought was going to happen. But I give James Harden all the credit because he allowed another superstar to come in and didn't take away from what he was adding to the table. He allowed Westbrook to be himself, and that was being real selfless to let him do that and still be James Harden. So I applauded. I just didn't know if they could coexist when they both needed the ball the way they do.
But here's the thing, though, Shelton. Like at the end of the day, run the tape. Run the tape. The reason why OKC and it's not to diminish Russell Westbrook or Kevin Durant, but the reason why that trio worked was because James Harden was truly the point guard down the stretch. He was the guy getting to the free throw line, making clutch free throws. He was the guy keeping Russell Westbrook at bay, going crazy. And obviously can't nobody do that for so long. He's going to do what he does. We saw it in the finals against Miami. He scored 44 points one of those games. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about like a big three or even a big two, it's about chemistry and how the games work. And I can't like say, oh, looking at it on paper, oh, these two would work. But it worked already. So I don't have to dissect it before it happened. We already saw it. So and you already know that they're real close off the court. So why would that dynamic change? Both of those guys are just better versions of what they were.
Because they both became alpha males. When they both were in OKC.
But they both were alpha males.
Yeah. Not in OKC, they were.
James Harden, all three of those guys were alpha males.
No. James Harden played second fiddle to those guys.
He came off the bench, bro.
Either way, yeah.
But who finished the game?
Huh?
Who finished the game?
He still deferred to those guys.
Put the ball in his hand, though. You got KD and Russell Westbrook, and who finished the game with the ball in their hand? It wasn't them two. It was James Harden.
Was he making the last shots? No.
He was setting them up, though.
That's fine. That's a point guard should. But he wasn't making. But he still was a fit. He still was a fit.
People, that's what I'm saying. He turned into what he is now. He wasn't that in OKC.
No one knew what James Harden was until he went to Houston. Let's keep it a buck.
I'll say that.
He gave you glimpses. He gave you glimpses.
We've seen glimpses before in the NBA.
But you know OKC to know what they were giving up.
Yeah,
no way they gave them up.
They had no idea.
Well, that's what you held on to.
Hey, FIFO, I saw glimpses in Jeremy Lin too. You see how that turned out?
That was one season, man. Come on now. Now.
I think, Shelton, kind of going to what you were saying about the alpha male thing, I think they had to be that because of the makeup of their teams. So when you look at Russ in OKC, he really had nobody else, so he had to be the guy. And when Kevin Durant went out and got hurt, he had to be the guy there. But it still was a dynamic duo. So we've seen Russ being able to play with another superstar, and we've seen James Harden. Have we seen him play with another superstar? Even if we haven't really seen that.
Chris Paul, Dwight Howard.
Yeah, let's give it Chris Paul. So it's not like we didn't know that they couldn't do it. I think because of the positions that they were on their teams, they had to be the alpha males. But once they came together, it's all about playing together and being teammates and doing what they need to do to win the game. So I think it was circumstances more than them being wired that particular way.
And one aspect that makes it work is that they trust each other. If I'm Russell Westbrook and I'm looking over here and I know I got James Harden and I'm James Harden looking at Russell Westbrook, we good. Who want to play? We good.
Yeah, that'd be an awesome NBA jam game.
FIFO, with that being said, are they gonna get out the West?
It's possible.
I'm asking. You already said that we good.
You
said we
possible,
good. I'm asking.
You think it's possible?
I know you. I know KG, one of your favorite players, but yeah, we already know anything possible. What's up? Are they coming out the West?
Don't get out the West. If they don't get out, is something wrong with that?
No, because I don't.
Yes, that means James Harden's getting traded.
Oh.
Hey, kick this man off the show. Kick him off the show.
FIFA, let me ask you a question. How many times has Houston changed his roster, overhaul, damn near, over the last 5 years? Would you say every year? Would you say every year?
Nick has a point.
And every time they change, who's been the same guy that's been there? James Harden. And they have not done near to what they've spent. The time that's spent, the money that's spent, the players they've acquired, the great players they acquired, and it still doesn't work because of who? Because of one guy? He got to go, bro. I'm sorry.
That's a valid point. Because they have, to your point, spent money trying to put pieces around him to beat Golden State. That was the whole crux of the movement of the pieces in that CP3 run and after that, and a year before that, was to try to design a team that would beat Golden State. Each year, he's come up smaller than we expect him to.
Last year was his year. KD was hurt. He should have got it last year.
I'm gonna tell you like this. He's not been clutch in the most clutch moments. I'll give him that. But when you get multiple 50 and damn near 60-point triple, you're not getting traded, bruh. He is the Houston Rockets, and he's not old, and he's in his prime. And who you gonna trade to say we're gonna be better off getting rid of James Harden?
My question is, I guess that means he's not valuable.
I guess not. I guess he ain't worth 2 cents out here.
I never said that. I was just gonna say FIFO's back on his winning. I prefer winning over titles. 50 points don't mean nothing if you get an L. Point blank, period.
Mr. AJ9, he dropped in the super chat. Appreciate it, brother. Asked, while we're talking about the Rockets, will their three-point shooting be a problem for the Lakers in the second round, or will it actually beat them in the second round?
Okay, so I'm gonna tie what Nick, because I didn't actually answer what Nick said, and also what the super chat said. So you asked me, can the Rockets get out of the West? The reason why I'm saying I don't know is because they're so devoid of size that I haven't seen it, right? Like, and even though Golden State was small, Draymond plays big. They don't. PJ Tucker's not that guy, even though he had an amazing game. He's not that guy like that. So that's why I have questions. However, we have seen a small team in the Miami Heat win a championship, and the way you overcome size and rebounding deficiency, because they got out rebounded in that game where they shot 61 threes, is the three-point shot. Because what rebounding does is gives you multiple possessions and it secures your defensive possession. You end the defensive possession with a rebound, right? And if you can't rebound, you have to outscore them, and that's what they're doing with the three. So to answer the Super Chat's question, if you're shooting 63s, right, and it sounds crazy.
How many did they make?
like if you hit 15 or 20 of those, you're more than likely going to win the game.
Yeah.
Because you're talking 60 points on just 3, right?
That's not saying. Is that strategy? Is that strategy?
I don't know if
that is a strategy. Because the player that you have is James Harden. James Harden averages damn near 20 free throws a game. So how do you get free throws? You go to the basket. So they're getting layups and threes. And they're getting high percentage free throw shots. James Harden shoots damn near 90%.
Yeah.
But to answer the Super Chat's question, it can be, because outside of Golden State, can't nobody shoot at a clip like that. James Harden is nice, but he's not Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So even though they're getting up the volume of shots, what happens when they get cold? Oh yeah, they lose in the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, We've seen it happen.
We saw that happen. Yep.
So that's why I'm like, look, I like it. They're going left when everybody's going right. But what happens when you get cold? Because you don't have other knockdown shooters like that. James Harden is a scorer. Russell is a scorer. Eric Gordon is, I would say, score. He can score, and he's their overall best shooter. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, like, you're just relying on jacking up threes. PJ Tucker's a corner.
How do y'all feel about Covington?
Huh?
How do you feel about
Covington's nice. He's a two-way player. He's a knockdown guy, but he's not
He's not changing nothing for him.
Yeah, exactly. He's a nice piece. They need him. Going small, he could play bigger. You know, he's a valuable piece for what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. But that's why I have a big question mark, because they're doing what you're supposed to do when you're devoid of size. Mm-hmm. But what happens when you go cold and you don't have the lethal marksman that Golden State does? You lose. So that's why I don't know. And the bubble situation adds an even bigger question mark because we saw James Harden come in underweight, like under his normal playing weight. He's in super shape. You know what I'm saying? These guys have been locked animals, lions, you know what I'm saying, ready to pounce and eat out there on that basketball court. And you were seeing that. But is that going to allow them to have that run? We're seeing it now. But again, I have a lot of questions, but they're doing it the way that you're supposed to do it if you're going to do it that way. That's why I don't know yet.
I'm going to answer that point blank. I ain't going to have no soliloquy like FIFO. No, it's not going to help them against the Lakers. It's not going to help them win the title at all. We've seen this formula done so many times where they see threes as a gold mine when we living in a tech world. It just right now it's not really hitting. Like everything is based off of strategy, analytics, and all that. And even though they are analytical, it's in the most extreme way. I don't think it's going to work. It hasn't worked. Even when they've had opportunities where the other side was weak as far as their competition, it still hasn't worked. So I don't know when they're going to learn their lesson. It maybe have to be from trading James Harden, but I like watching it. James Harden is a great player to watch. So is Russell Westbrook. But are they going to beat the Lakers or even beat the Clippers? No. And that's my pure point answer.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I don't think so because they're going to end up facing one of them in the second round. So rather if it's the Clippers or the Lakers.
The possessions are going to be key. Extra possessions are very key in the playoffs. That's going to hurt them. And I think that's just one of the things, like to FIFO's point, if you get cold, you're fucked because you can't. And
you will get cold.
You will get cold because guess what? When you're on defense, your legs start losing a little bit of juice. So them shots going to start being short. So when the shots start not falling, you don't have an inside presence that can take some of the load off your shooting.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing we're forgetting though about that team, and this is why they still gonna be dangerous, even if they do get cold. Like you said, those guys are both slashers. They both can get to the basket. So they're gonna get them fouls and they're gonna get their shots. So they'll be shooting a lot of free throws. Trust me, if they go cold from the outside, then you're gonna see a lot of ISOs with Harden going to the basket, and you're gonna see a lot with Russ going to the basket. So they're still gonna get their points. But you're right, it will be less possessions for them because they don't rebound at all. But you may see both of them taking 20 free throws in the game.
If you don't get no rebounds, you can't shoot threes.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, they've beaten the Lakers and they've beaten the Clippers. And I think they have a winning record against the Clippers this season. Don't quote me on that because we've been off for 4 months, at least the NBA has. So, but nevertheless, I mean, they have managed to win games, but we're talking about a 7-game series, you know, so, and D'Antoni and playoff Harden. So who knows? But it still makes them a viable threat. And you know, you just take it game by game. But the last thing I have, because I know there's some other stuff we need to talk about. Giannis passed up that shot, man, last night.
I was just gonna mention that because I know you wanted to talk about it. You've been ready to just put his feet to the fire, man. God damn it. Hey, you can't, this man, let him get his MVP and B. But I was gonna ask, does Giannis deserve more criticism, or is he being properly evaluated?
Absolutely, he does. Not for making I don't know what you're gonna say. I think he deserves the criticism because that's how people criticize MVPs down the stretch in situations like that. Yep. That's how they've always done it.
AKA LeBron. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I'm just saying we got to keep the same energy, man. That's all I'm saying. The same energy. Just keep it.
You're right.
That's it.
All I'm saying is I've been on that. I'm the if anybody is anti-Giannis, it's me because I've criticized him in his game for not being what it's supposed to be. Right now, the numbers are nice. The numbers are historic. The PER is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But there's major holes in his game. And that's why I said that there's other players in the NBA that I'd rather take over Giannis right now. And why Giannis is not the best player in the NBA. LeBron.
Who you taking?
Hold on.
LeBron. I still take LeBron all day over Giannis.
Is that it?
I take KD over Giannis. There's guys, and there's not one or two. There's multiple guys I will take over Giannis.
There's only three.
Who's the third?
You just named him.
It's Kawhi. I would say Kawhi, LeBron, and KD.
I wouldn't take Kawhi over Giannis.
Y'all don't want to hear my list then. I'm gonna hurt some
Hey,
hearts.
wait a minute, hold up. No, FIFO.
Trey Young better not be on that list.
Nah, hell no.
FIFO, what do you think is his what do you think is the biggest hole in his game?
Shooting and having the confidence to shoot. Like Giannis is a full court player. Giannis is a rebound, go push. Y'all can't beat me to the rim. I'm gonna dunk over 4 or 5 people because I'm just too long, young, strong, and athletic. Giannis doesn't have a half court game. Like Giannis doesn't have an old man game. That's the way I like to put it. KD,
Tim Duncan,
James Harden, Dame Lillard, they got old man game. They got little tricky, slide things that they can do to get buckets. They got ways to pump fake you into fouls. They live at the free throw line. Giannis don't live like that.
They want the list.
Oh, they want the people want the list?
They want the list.
Oh man. Okay.
How many you got?
I'm gonna just go through the NBA.
And I'm gonna tell you when you starting to picking at straws. Go ahead.
The guys I would rather take over Giannis.
So here are FIFO's top players.
Over Giannis.
I don't have a number, but top players that he would take over Giannis Antetokounmpo.
So give me Dame Lillard. I already talked about him. Give me Dame all day. All the intangibles. He just don't have the size, but give me Dame. Give me Steph.
Okay, and he's picking at straws now.
I'm not picking that. Well, yeah. After these two, because there's a considerable drop off. You know what I'm saying? In talent outside of KD, LeBron, Kawhi, Steph, Dame. I'm going. I think somebody that's climbing up the list, but I'm not willing to put them there yet, is a big man from Denver, the Joker, Jokic. He's not above Giannis.
You would pick Joker over Giannis?
Do you see what he does on the basketball court?
I understand who he is. I'm asking you. That's why I'm asking you that question.
He got old man game.
Are you just saying names? Or this is on your list?
No, these are your top players. So
yeah.
you said KD.
So legitimately, there's 5 guys: Steph, Dame, KD.
Steph is not on that list.
Wait, hold on, let him go.
Steph, Dame, LeBron, Kawhi, and who was the 5th? KD.
Is your list?
KD. I forgot KD.
No AD.
KD. To me, Giannis and AD are the same. Giannis and
if you had to choose,
if you had to choose, the same what?
They're at the same level to me. They're
the same skin tone. Yes, I agree. They're the same skin tone. That's about it.
If you had to choose one, it depends on my roster. But if I had to choose, it 100% depends on my roster. But if I just had to choose one, I will go Giannis. I will go Giannis just because of the physicality. Okay. He plays a more physical style of basketball than AD does.
You have Steph Curry over Giannis.
Hey man, Steph from 3 years ago, maybe. But the Steph now, there's no way you could say that.
Hell no. I would never.
Okay. Y'all being disrespectful. Okay.
I love Steph.
No, you got the corona come back. Your mask ain't working. Your mask ain't working, bro.
Wait, did Steph fall off that bad? I haven't seen him play.
Steph is not that. Steph does not affect the game as much as Giannis. He does not affect the game as much as Giannis.
Okay.
Whoa, no.
Okay.
Hey B.
Okay.
What up?
What do you think about FIFO's list?
He trying to be nice. Don't be nice.
No,
he's never nice.
He's not nice.
You don't.
Right.
You don't give a damn.
Right.
We've been doing this. Y'all just seeing it.
So y'all you picking
for the 5. Dame, Steph, KD, Kawhi, and LeBron are the 5 players I will definitely take over Giannis today.
Shit.
Nah.
I don't know about
agree with that shit. You don't disagree with that shit.
No, I don't know about. See, but Steph changed the game though. Like, why would you want to have assassin on that motherfucker though?
Steph is super legit.
Yeah, because like you gotta guard him soon. He step on the court.
Right. That pick and roll, that pick and roll with Steph.
Steph does not. Steph does not get his own shots like that. He can't get his own shot like Giannis.
Get his own shot.
He comes off the screen.
Nick, that's what makes him dynamic.
Screens, bro. Steph come off the screens, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
That's what makes him so dynamic. He can
shoot off the dribble better than anybody else in history.
He ain't catch a
shoot off the dribble better.
I've seen. What did Steph do in the What did Steph do in that finals with Toronto when it was just him?
First of all, really, okay.
I'm asking that question. Well, I'm asking, what he do?
Same thing Giannis did. Same thing. So that's why I'm taking Steph.
They was hurt even still. And even if Clay got hurt, they probably would have still won the shit, to be honest.
Nah, they wasn't winning without KD. Steph doesn't affect the game as much as Giannis. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Wait, hold on.
He changed the game.
No.
What are you talking? What are you
talking
about?
I'm sorry. How could that be true? How could that be true? And all Toronto had to do was put a wall up against Giannis to stop him, right? And that's all they had to do. Make him shoot. That's the number one thing you have to do with Giannis is make him shoot. That's the number one thing you want Steph Curry to not do is shoot the basketball.
So you saying they put
people prepare for Steph? He moves without the ball great.
I'm not
anybody else.
I'm not denying
him not being effective.
I'm not denying Giannis doesn't have faults, but you just said that they had to put a full wall over that man. They had to block off a whole area. With Steph, what Toronto did when it was just Steph, or even when Clay was there too.
Yeah, like 47.
He did, but it didn't matter. It didn't change. It didn't affect the game. They still lost by what? They lost about a good chunk even with that 47. If I'm not to be mistaken. So again, they let
63.
Huh?
He got to score 63. They didn't have Clay either that game.
You got to do what you got to do to win. You got to do what you got to do to win the game. If you're the best player, if you're the superstar of that team, you got to do what you got to do to win the game. We said that we have the same expectations for LeBron. We don't care how you do it, but you got to do what you got to do to win the game. Apparently, he didn't do enough. So what I'm saying is that when it comes to Giannis, to me, there's more strategy. That's harder to guard Giannis, in my opinion, than it is Steph. Especially in today. If we're saying like who would I want right now, I'm taking Giannis.
I don't know if I can say that though, Nick, because like we just said, James Harden was guarding Giannis down the stretch. Yep.
James Harden hasn't guarded Giannis over a 7-game series. So James Harden, anybody can get a good defensive play. And we talking about James Harden, first of all. So don't act like James Harden is Tony Allen or
right. That's
Bruce Bowen.
That's the point.
Like Steph, Tony Allen.
That's the point.
What do you mean? Steph don't guard nobody.
I'm Giannis lost the 2-0 lead last year in the playoffs and lost 4 straight.
And why?
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
He has holes. He has major holes in his game.
FIFO, what do you always say about players when it comes to the playoffs? What do you always say?
They gotta have
no. Don't you know exactly where I'm going?
I got a lot of sayings.
No, exactly. You say they got to take their lumps. They got to get their butt whooped, but they still have to progress. Giannis has progressed throughout these playoffs over his last 3 years.
But last year he shouldn't have lost like that though. He the MVP. You're not supposed to lose like that. It's supposed to be a 7-game series, the same way Philly went down. Last damn second shot. They left it all out there, and regardless whoever should have won. Giannis, the MVP, can't be losing like that, dog. You can't be losing like that. You can't be losing like that because that would happen to LeBron. Crucifixion.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, FIFO, but it ain't.
What do you mean? LeBron. So you saying LeBron never lost in the conference finals in 6 games in the East? Because I remember Orlando Magic doing that.
Not when he got to Miami. Not since Miami.
Okay, I'm talking about in general. You're moving the argument to a timeline.
But Giannis has taken those steps, and where he's at right now, he can't be losing like that. I'm not saying he got to win. I'm not saying he got to win, but he can't lose like that. And also, wait, hold on. I want to address something I saw in the chat. People are saying I should have Joel Embiid on that list. From a talent perspective, Ken, how early was I on Joel?
Yeah, you were.
Super dumb early. I love Joel. But this, hell no. I can't deal with that. I can't. So that's why I can't take him over Giannis.
I could.
I'm not gonna lie. Giannis looked so good.
Sure.
I think it just started with him saying that Steph can't get his own shot.
Yeah.
I don't think he can get his own shot. I think if you.
I don't know
what games you've been watching, man.
Anywhere, bro.
I don't know what basketball you're watching to say Steph don't get his own shot. Someone in the chat, send Nick say the clips of Steph getting his own.
Send me all the clips. Please send me all the clips.
I mean, he can get to the rim.
Hold on.
Hey, Nick, you've been watching the Knicks too much, man. You need to cleanse your eyes.
You ain't seen him crossed up CP3 and got his own shot.
Hey,
that last year crossover CP3.
I'm talking about when it counts.
Oh,
He's
look,
switching
look,
it up.
look,
You
look.
know, see, exactly.
I'm talking about when it
Now you
counts.
switching it.
Hey, when it count.
Thank
Hey,
you,
what happened
Ken.
when he had to get it?
Hey,
when he had
Giannis need to
what
do it
happened-
when it count too.
Exactly.
Giannis need to do it when it count.
I asked the question, do you think the criticism, do you think he deserves more criticism or is he properly evaluated?
100%.
I haven't even given my answer. I haven't given my answer yet.
Okay.
I think he's being properly evaluated. I don't think the criticism is less or more. I think he's being properly evaluated as the MVP.
Why you think that?
Because people have expectations of him, but not only because of what could happen, I think either this offseason or next year, because he's a free agent very soon. As far as like how far do the Bucks need to go for him to stay? And then a good question that one of the analysts asked, I forgot on ESPN, said, well, it depends on what he really wants. I think Giannis, from when the conversation he had with Kobe and him training with Kobe, he wants to win a title. And for him, I think this year is the NBA Finals or bust. I don't know if he has to necessarily win it all to stay in Milwaukee, but he's definitely trying to get out the East and at least give himself a chance to win a title this year. And based off of that, if you have title expectations, you deserve title criticism. So for what y'all are saying, as far as him passing up that shot, do I agree with what he was trying to do? No, I think he should have took the shot. But at the same time, I'm not gonna overanalyze this game against the Rockets or whatever, because it's just one game and he's already proven that he got the number one seed in the East. So I want to see what he does in the actual playoffs and how far he takes his team before I really criticize him.
You know, a lot of stuff that he said, you could just swap out Giannis and put in LeBron, and if the name was LeBron, he'd be on the completely other side of the fence on this.
How so? How so?
Oh my God!
You would.
There's no laid out for me.
Let me ask you a question, Nick. If LeBron had lost 4 straight, the way Giannis did, to FIFO's point, what would be the reaction?
It'll be the same thing that I've been saying a lot, as far as like when he lost against Dallas, because I think it was almost damn near the same thing. It was close to it, where he lost straight, or the other times that he got swept, because he got swept in the finals twice, so that's another 4 straight. So it's the same criticism that I would give LeBron, I would give Giannis, but Giannis is still developing and growing. Like I don't think this is the final.
He's the
form,
MVP. But he's the MVP, and I understand that he's still young in his development. But once you're the MVP, ask James Harden. You get criticized to the team. You cannot lose 4 straight. I don't care if you was one-time MVP. I don't like, bro.
But everybody has their.
Hold on. There's certain expectation levels once you reach a certain level in the game, and Giannis is considered top 5 in the game. You can't be doing and losing 4 straight games like that.
Not to you. Huh? He ain't top 5.
Look. I'm saying the guys that I would take over Giannis. I didn't say that Giannis isn't better than some of these guys on my list. I just said guys that I would like. If you gave me an option, I'll take these guys.
So he's
but I didn't. But Giannis is still up and coming.
Either way,
exactly. So I think he even pulled out his 3-point. He shot a couple threes in the game. Like he's still developed. Like he isn't in his fully form, and he's already an MVP.
So why don't Ben Simmons get this leeway from you?
Because Ben Simmons doesn't take shots. Giannis does. Giannis
just recently started taking shots, and he don't even take those shots like that. Like again, his problem is in the half court, bro. He's a full court player, just like Ben. So what are we talking about? He was a little bit more aggressive than Ben Simmons. He's the same damn guy.
Who has over the last 3 seasons who's taken more jump shots, Ben Simmons or Giannis Antetokounmpo?
But Giannis has been in the league twice as long.
Y'all have had.
I'm just saying the last 3 seasons. I said the last 3 seasons.
Let's just stay focused on the topic because we got some other stuff to hit. All I'll say is this: he got off light because the only thing they talked about were the Rockets. And James.
That was a big win for the Rockets, though.
I know, but Giannis still should have gotten some criticism. He did not. And that's what you asked. And I think while it was a big win, they just totally glossed over the fact that Giannis passed that ball. And not only was it a pass, it was a turnover.
Right. Thank you.
Maybe it was a lesson learned.
I've seen LeBron do that same pass, and people say like he is going to make the play. And then I've seen other people also say he should take the shot. Again, it's the same thing.
Right. And I'm 100% with you. And that's why I think he got off light, because they're not keeping the same energy and having those same criticisms of Giannis the way they did for LeBron. I don't necessarily think it was a bad play. I'm always an advocate for the right play for the most part, depending on the situation. What I wanted to see was what will people say about that, because typically they tend to criticize MVPs when they don't take the shot.
Right.
And we have a whole day of that happening today. So that's it. So we'll see. We'll see. We got whole playoffs to go.
Yeah.
We'll see if they ramp up the criticism of Giannis or not. Or maybe they just don't give a damn about Giannis like that.
The bigger the lights get, they'll have to if he doesn't perform.
They criticize Harden more than damn Giannis these days.
Yeah.
Well, Harden's American born. Giannis is still foreign, so.
Oh, so they taking the light on. They taking the light on the brother.
They got to keep up them international markets, man. they try to get their money.
Yeah. Okay.
I got more of a question as far as like how this 8th seed in the West is going to play out as far as between Portland, Memphis, even now San Antonio and the Pelicans. So, Ken, you mentioned the Pelicans earlier. They've been losing since the regular season started.
They finally won one tonight.
They won tonight?
Yeah, they beat Ja. Zion beat Ja. He had a game too. Zion had a game, man.
I didn't watch the game yet.
Yeah,
I watched
23, 7, and 5. How many minutes did he play? I don't know, but they unleashed him.
More than 15, I hope.
Listen. Let me say this about Zion, though. Zion still got a lot of work to do, man, and he need to get in the gym, man. He really do. He's
in
doing
the gym
it.
for what? In the gym for what? To lose weight?
That too. But he really needs to get in basketball shape and get with a good trainer and learn the game. I mean, when Michael Vick came into the league for the first, I don't know how long in his career it was, but Michael Vick, Cam Newton, the same thing. They got in the league, and it's a different sport, but same concept. They got in the league and they relied on athletic ability and their natural God-given talent to get them to a certain point. That's what it seems like Zion is doing too. And I'm not expecting him to be developed overnight. But at the same time, I really need to make sure, I want to make sure that he does develop. And I want to see something from him at some point. And it's scary to watch because we talk about Ja. Ja didn't have the greatest game tonight, but Ja is moving.
Yeah.
And I want to see Zion do the same thing. Like next year, Zion better be right. That's all I got to say about that.
To your point, I think, and I heard Shannon Sharp say he need to reach out to Charles Barkley. I think Zion just need to reach out to LeBron and get on that LeBron plan.
I agree. I don't think Charles Barkley's the answer.
Exactly, because Charles did it 40 years ago, damn near. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a long time ago. I think right now, if we're talking about the definition of what an athlete should look like, train like, eat like, be like off the court, it is LeBron. And I see the people saying that I'm a LeBron groupie in the stand in the comments, but let's just be honest. He's the greatest athlete of our generation. He just is. So let's give the man props. And let's give the man props in taking care of his body. From day one, we never had to question LeBron James and his level of physical fitness. Zion, we're questioning that. And he needs to holler at his people, and he needs to get on that regimen.
Yeah. Because what does LeBron spend like $2 million a year on his body?
He spends 6 figures on his body at least a year.
I thought it was like $2 million.
Yeah.
But whatever the case, he spends a lot of money on making sure that he's physically adept to the game and ready to go. And that's what Zion's gonna have to do. And like I said, I know it's early. I know this is early criticism, but like I said, the little tweaks and nicks and stuff that he has, it's a lot, and it's because he's carrying a lot of weight. And I just want to see him. I want to see him develop. I want to see him do it. 7 rebounds is decent, but he should be averaging double-figure rebounds at this point. Period.
I think we're all critical of Zion because we see the potential he can be if he does everything right. As far as more so what we're talking about, as far as taking care of his body, because as we can see, we've seen injuries derail superstars' career, especially within the last decade. So that's why health is even a big more concern outside of this whole pandemic. My thing is like, at one point, I don't know if he may be just resisting all this criticism and be thinking that I'm fine the way I am. This is what got me here, because I feel like we're saying it, media pundits are saying it, the medical staff has to be saying, otherwise they wouldn't be putting him on these minutes restrictions to protect himself from his own self. It seems like, I feel like if he cool with looking like Johnny Bravo, if he cool having that limp like an Augusta Pimp, then let him be, and we'll see what happens as far as his body goes, because it seems like he don't want to lose weight. in a pandemic where you ain't got nothing to do but work out, like FIFO said, these are lions that were trapped in cages. I don't know where you got that from, but whatever. I'm gonna roll with you on that. If you can't stay in shape during this time as a rookie and knowing your potential of as far as like how people already are locked into you, then I don't know what else is going to motivate you.
So that picture was Photoshop?
It must have been. I was about to ask y'all, did y'all tell me he was slim?
Because I'm confused. I mean, which one is it? Was it the picture or?
Well, you know, Ken.
Now he's out of shape. I mean, I understand he missed time, but
you know, back in the day when me and Ken literally used to go to the gym together. It don't look like it no more, but we once upon a time used to do that. But you know, like right after you work out, that pump that your muscle that they have, you know, say you look nice.
Oh,
but then right after, you know, you go back to normal. So
I can see that.
So it was probably right after the workout. They're like, "Oh, look at Bane.
Take a picture now."
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
Right.
You know, look, go ahead, Sheldon.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, he probably, you know, he probably is lifting a little bit and doing a little bit with his strength and stuff like that. But at the same time, he needs to slim up. That's what he needs to do. He needs to train a little different way. If we play in football, then you know, getting in football shape is a little different. But they need to get him with some basketball track guys, you know what I'm saying, to try to slim him up a little bit. And I ain't saying he got to be skinny. I'm just saying, you know, just, you know, a few pounds just to get him to the point where he can get up and down the court with ease and play a full game, because I'm tired of these little spurts. You know, we've held this guy back for a long time. And I know he was out of the bubble and I get all that stuff. I know we had all the injuries coming in, but it's time for him to play now. I think it's time to see what we really got. And that way you'll have something to build on for next year.
It don't sound like you get it, Shelton. Am I the only one that understands that's kind of okay with what happened given the circumstances? Like, if he was gone and did get a chance to practice a play for personal reasons, and because of that, he came back, he wasn't necessarily in game shape, even though he was advocating to play. He wanted to play more than 10 or 15 minutes. The organization wouldn't. So for me, it sounds like I think some of this criticism need to be aimed towards the organization for putting those minute restrictions on him and not at Zion, because his desire to play is there. I really believe this is much ado about nothing. This whole thing about Zion and these injuries and this weight is a whole media-driven spin, and everybody just kind of caught up in it, and it's a talking point on every time people talk about Zion. I just don't think there's much of an issue here.
But I don't think it's just a little bit much to do about nothing, because we know he has knee issues from college and maybe even before then. And he
had them recently?
We don't know. He was having knee issues earlier before the season started. That's why he was out. That's what I was heard.
And since he's been back, has he had the same knee issues?
I don't think so. I haven't heard anything, so I'm gonna assume not. But at the same time, he is one of the heaviest players in the NBA, and that can't be good for your knees. He's the heaviest person in the NBA. That can't be good for your knees, especially for how much bouncing he's doing. So he may be good for right.
It depends. It really honestly depends on the physical makeup of Zion. Like, his body was probably built to manage and handle all of that.
I think it would be, like I said, in another arena. I just don't think it is for a basketball court. I don't think that's the body type.
But since when? Like, since he became, go ahead, Ramil.
I'm just gonna say, Nick, technically he's not the heaviest player in the NBA, because I just literally, as you said that, I was looking up his weight and his height. This person named Taco Fall, who is a Senegalese professional basketball player for the Boston Celtics on a two-way contract with the main rare clause of the NBA G League. He's 311.
7'5".
Okay,
Yeah,
we're talking about someone who actually gets more minutes.
For height?
We were talking about someone who actually gets playing time, not Taco Fall.
I'm just saying technically speaking.
Okay, so he's the second. Yeah. He's okay out of the hundreds of players in the NBA.
Yeah, he's the second
second heaviest.
And that's what I was gonna say. And even in saying that, Taco Fall is 7 feet 6 inches tall. Yeah. So you're taking that. Yeah, that's a lot of man.
It says 7'5" on here though, but you might be right. It says 7'5".
7'5", 7'6".
Yeah, either way. Yeah.
You big.
But yeah. Hey, Darryl Brown says Zion tricking people like Instagram models. So that's
I call them Decepticons.
So Ken, do you think they can get to the playoffs, or is it a wrap?
Man, I don't know. I know tonight was a big win. I'm concerned about Memphis. I will tell you that. And I will say
they screwed over Memphis with the schedule, though.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I'm concerned about Memphis. So I think they got a shot, but I really honestly don't know, man. Like some teams are ready, some teams are not. Some teams are rusty, some teams are not as well. But I think one thing that I got, a feeling that I got, was that this shit ain't gonna work for BI. This is what I was gonna talk about. This people, I know you giving me the look. But this shit ain't gonna work for BI. And there's something that Shelton says. Shelton watched these games, and Shelton says he's a black hole. BI is taking all these shots. He want to be the man. For a while, he was the man, and here comes Zion. Zion steps on the court. From what I heard tonight, BI had a hell of a fourth quarter. Who did they talk to after the game?
Zion.
That's gonna be a problem.
He's like, damn, I left LA to be in the swamp to be the second fiddle.
Watch. It's gonna be a problem, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a problem. That's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to just put that out there. Y'all know, like, just like you on certain things.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
I'm good at calling these things too.
And in saying that, it's gonna make him try to do a little bit more, and it makes him press a little bit, which that's why Brandon even struggles sometimes, because he's pressing. He's trying to get his. Brandon's been trying to make up for the LA time since he's been in New Orleans. And that guy,
you want to prove them wrong.
He is. And he's out to do that every single time he touches the basketball. It's like shoot or die. This dude is shooting that ball now. That's what he gonna shoot that ball. So it's to the point where he's not playing the game in rhythm. It's almost like I gotta score. And it hurts him more than anything else. He could be a lot better player if he just played within himself. I ain't saying he shouldn't shoot, but he probably shoots about 4 or 5 shots that he shouldn't take per game.
Yeah,
and that's the difference.
So Ken, you make a very valid point. I'm not going to argue, and I think you're 100% right. But you know whose shoulder that falls on to make sure that that's not an issue for BI is Zion. So when he gets that interview and after the game, he's the one that needs to say, "Yo, Brandon Ingram had an incredible. Yo, BI, come on. And bring him into those interviews and stuff like that. And we've seen that with LeBron, seen that with D Wade, we've seen it with some of the bigger stars. You know what I'm saying? They need to publicly acknowledge that their co-stars are the reasons why certain things happen, and it still may not be enough, because your point is extremely valid.
I was going to say that I don't think he needs to do that, because I don't think that would matter.
It goes a long way,
Yeah.
but it may not be what makes him happy, but it gives him the validation that he's looking for, because in that time frame where I talk about players developing in that 3 to 5 year window, part of that developing is establishing who you are as a basketball player in the NBA. And BI, like, we've had question marks around Brandon Ingram. And now that he has his opportunity, he's like, I'm going to be known as a scorer. I'm going to be a 20 plus 25-point scorer on a playoff, want to be contending type team. And that's what he's trying to establish himself as. And if he's having big time fourth quarters and being the catalyst as to why they win games, but they're interviewing Zion when he has, somewhat of a pedestrian game. I don't know what his
he had a good line.
Okay, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're co-stars, and I think it is a little pressure on Zion, just like it is on LeBron to big up the Mo Williams of the world. Like you have to do that. You know what I'm saying? It is part of expectations of a superstar of that potential magnitude. So, but I'm not saying it's enough.
Mm-hmm.
But Zion's gonna have to do that if he likes what he got going on. He's gonna have to do that.
Yeah, because that trio, man, they will be hell, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of it that I got for the NBA. Y'all got anything else? Maybe I think probably this would be a basketball episode. NFL stuff could probably wait.
Yeah. Well, Isaac. What's his name?
This is
from Orlando.
Yeah. So
Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah, Jonathan Isaac with a torn ACL, man. I felt bad for that man
because he just got back.
He just got back, and I like.
Damn, I hate hearing that. Yeah, those are the worst stories.
Yeah, man. Damn.
Wasn't that the one that didn't want to take a knee?
Yes.
All right, Ken, come on.
I'm asking the question, Nick.
You ain't gotta ask that question. You ain't gotta ask that question.
You petty Ken.
That's
Hey, taking that knee might have stretched that ACL out a little bit. That's all I'm saying, man.
What you give for that protest?
Come on, bro.
Oh my God.
I can't. It's too soon. Wait till the playoffs for that joke. Wait till they mathematically eliminate it.
Hey, what was his excuse? Because they said I've been seeing, I tried to see what it was, but they
Shelton,
kept saying,
I don't know. He was talking for like 5 minutes about
nothing.
Gossip, the God and the gossip, and I don't know what the hell he was talking about.
Let's move on.
I'm surprised you watched the whole thing, B.
You want to talk about
that,
shit?
that was it. He kept talking in circles for like 5 minutes. It was like, what?
He just had a word. He had a word salad. He was just saying words.
Dude, he was really just saying words, dude. I was like, what is this guy? I mean, I guess it's his right. It's his, if he don't want to kneel or whatever, yeah, that's his thing. But with his explanation is what got me. I was just like, what is this dude talking about?
He said something about God.
Yeah, it was about his religion. Yeah,
pretty much. And then the girl asked him, well, what does religion have to do with it?
She's a real one. She went there. She was like, well, what the fuck does that have to do with? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they said it wasn't really a good explanation. Like I said, I didn't hear. I knew it had something to do with religion, but I just didn't know what
he
about
was
it.
in circles so many times, Shelton. It was crazy.
Man, you ain't got to worry about it no more.
It was like, dude, you've been better
playing that out.
You'd been better just saying next question or something or whatever. Like, that 5 minute circle of talking he was doing, it made him look worse. It made it look worse.
Mm-hmm. So do y'all think it's bad when they don't kneel?
I don't. I'm not gonna trip over that, man.
Yeah. All right, you petty. Don't blurb, Ken. We over here talking about, all right, man. We trying to give our shout outs to Isaac. You over here saying, he ain't kneel though. I'll give it that. Somebody I saw what they said, like with everybody kneeling, it kind of, I ain't saying it's diminishing the value of the cause, but it kind of, it's not the same as when Kaepernick did it, of course, because when he did it, I think everybody need to get over the fact that like Kaepernick, like it's not going to impact it as hard as Kaepernick because Kaepernick lost the most. No one's going to lose as much as Cap.
Started it.
So it's like
it wasn't a trend when he was doing it. He made it a trend. It wasn't a trend when he was doing it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He made it a trend. He made it the trend, but it wasn't a trend.
People, they wanted to hear you talk about your Nuggets, man. Your boy went off, man.
Who, Bobo?
MPJ. Not Bobo. Nobody talking about Bobo.
Okay. I'm just saying, I like the Nuggets, so it's
MPJ,
Bobo's
man.
the new story. But what did MPJ do? I didn't watch the game.
I think the part that I caught, and B probably watched the whole thing, but when I watched like parts up to the third quarter, and he had like 20, he was 7 or 8 from the field. Yeah, he was efficient, man.
Michael Porter Jr. did something that hasn't been done since Melo at Denver, and he scored 20 points in a half.
You can say that again, B, for the people in the back.
No, I mean, because that's FIFA was high on that dude. So yeah, he done something that hasn't been done as a Denver Nugget since Melo.
In the chat, they said he went for 37.
Oh my God! Hey, look, when I be right, I know I'll be right, man. When I be right, I know I'll be right. And I'm telling you, Michael Porter Jr. is still at that job for obvious reasons.
For sure.
Everybody know that. Yeah.
But the question of it, FIFA, was his health though, because I always said Michael Porter Jr. was the greatest. But I said that too. But his health was the question. We didn't know what we were gonna get.
That's why he.
That man's back was broke. That's why he failed. That was it. And you couldn't take the chance. A lot of people were scared to take that chance. So that's kind of what. It wasn't like they just passed over him like he was trash.
I would have took it.
It was I think I might would have took the chance too. But I don't blame them for not. When your job is on the line for making a good draft pick and you pick something like that and it falls through, you know that's it.
100%. I think in a Michael Porter Jr. situation, if I was wearing that any GM hat that drafted before the Nuggets, I'm talking to the medical people. Hey, because my basketball eyes already tell me everything I need to know.
Right?
How good is he gonna be? Can he be 90% of what he projected could be? Because if it's 90 or better, I'm drafting that guy.
But we didn't even get enough to see it though. People,
he broke his back early.
But here's the thing:
we didn't see it.
I saw it because I follow a lot of basketball players young from AAU, and he was one of the ones that I followed and I identified super early to say, hey, this guy right here, problem. And I'll tell you the moment. I remember the exact moment that I knew he was a problem. He was the only non-guard invited to Steph Curry's basketball camp.
Yeah,
and when,
I remember that.
And when you're 6'10", working out with guards, and you got a game, to me that's reminiscent of Carmelo, very much so. To me, Carmelo with more range, and that's crazy to say because Carmelo came in, he could shoot from anywhere.
Right.
But I think he's even more refined than what Carmelo was, and that's crazy.
Oh yeah, I agree. But and then also, like I said, I was thinking too, maybe the medical staff didn't have good things to say about it. Maybe he exceeded expectations of that part too. Because we really don't know. Like I said, we really don't know a whole lot of what.
Well, they gave him like 2 years to rebuild himself.
Yeah. They did. And Denver was the one spot that I remember when he went to Denver, I was like, man, that's crazy because Denver is a spot where
they got to steal.
They could kind of stash him and still be okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one spot where he landed where he needed to be, where he had the time to develop, and there's no pressure. None.
No pressure.
Absolutely none. And now he can grow and be that guy.
And he still gets that playoff experience by being around those guys. So that's even better for his development.
Yeah.
So I think, I think he's in a perfect spot. It's all about where you get drafted most of the times. It's not about
100%. And then when you look at that roster, obviously their best player is Joker. Joker's a pass first point center. You know what I'm saying? So MPJ is going to get the shots. Jamal Murray, he could handle the rock. He could spell a point guard. But
what about Harris?
Catch and shoot, huh?
What about Harris, the other guard?
Oh Gary Harris, defender. You know, 3-and-D guy, the prolific 3-and-D guy. So MPJ, when the cards align for Denver, as I'm predicting already, MPJ is going to be their leading scorer. He's going to be their bucket getter. When they're down 6 in the fourth quarter with 2.5 minutes to go, they might run the play through Joker, but the guy taking the shot is going to be MPJ.
I agree. I think it's going to be that. Like I said, he's on the second best roster in the NBA, if not tied for the first with the Clippers. But that team is loaded, and he got a chance to learn and practice with some guys. Those practices were better than probably some games he could have played in. So I love the fact that he went to Denver to be the Bowl too. Same thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Being in Denver, it's a good place to be. You got Millsap that's going to teach you the game, and the wily veteran who don't mind grooming them boys, and they got a chance to learn behind some good players. So now when it's time to step up, them boys should be all right.
Yep, 100%.
Come on, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get ready to get out of here, but I will say before we leave, because we just kind of really wanted to focus on the NBA a lot since it's been 4 months, baby. Man, and it's been and there's a lot to like. Teams look rusty. It's to be expected, but they'll get there. And I do like the virtual fans.
Yeah,
I do like that.
Yeah.
I think that's dope. Like my mind is racing once I really realized those are real people. I was like, oh shit, the possibilities are endless for me in terms of the things that they could do. Because I'm like, dang, is that real? Is that or so to be able to kind of replicate that to a certain degree, I think goes a ways for the guys. But
yeah, I think if them finishing up the season like this goes successful and no one catches COVID, I think I can definitely see 2021 season being just like this as well.
I don't think you could do a whole season in a bubble. It's too much travel.
Oh no!
It works because it's the playoffs and it's limited teams. But to a degree, aspects of this can work. Not having fans, having virtual fans, stuff like that. But the whole bubble thing, you can't do that with 28, 30 teams in the NBA that are from coast to coast. You can't confine everybody to one central location like that.
Not for 82 games.
Not for 82 games. And even shit for 60 games. Like, even if they came down in games, you can't put alpha males, young rich millionaires, and say, hey, for the next 3 months, you can't go nowhere.
Don't go nowhere.
Nah, that's not going. Nah.
And they're gonna leave anyway. They're gonna give you some fake ass excuse to where they can slide to where they want to go.
Exactly.
Hey, FIFA, real quick. Brian Hinckley said I could ask FIFA what he had for dinner. He'd find a way to relate it to LeBron. Hey, but that was a comment of the night right there.
Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, so it took a minute, but I've adjusted and I like it so far. And And
No difference
but,
for me.
huh?
There's no difference for me, really.
Not that big of a difference for me either.
And plus, I listen to music while I'm watching games anyway. So I mean, I need to see it. As long as I see it, the camera be on the court anyway. So I mean,
yeah, the logos on the court helped me and the camera angle. So they changed the angle from the early games. I didn't like that at all.
It's a little bit more aerial now. It looks like.
It's the way it should be now.
Oh, so. 80 hit the big shot, of course.
And also like all of the noise, not noise, but all of the sounds of an actual arena, like right? Like all of that, the announcer, all of that makes it feel real. Well,
yeah, they're bringing
not unreal, but
of home, right? They're bringing the comforts of home to the bubble.
Exactly.
Ooh, man.
Well, I have a question for you guys. Speaking of leaving the bubble, what do you guys think about the Lou Williams situation? Since we talked about that in our podcast.
Yeah, much ado about nothing, because I think a lot of the media don't really understand how good wings are in a strip club.
I mean, real talk. I mean, that's real talk. That's real talk. Ken saying some real shit.
Listen, hold up. I'll say that real quick. This white cat tweeted, I'll bite West Magic City. Some dude replied and said an African American performing arts center.
That's pretty much correct.
Yeah.
But see, my thing is, I think the suspension was a little like extra because he was gonna have to already quarantine for 4 to 10 days when he got back anyway. So I think that I think because he went to a strip club was the issue. Like I think had he gone to like Gus's Fried Chicken or Busy Bees or some shit, just a regular restaurant or something like that, I don't think they would have tripped. I think it's because he went to a strip club and
I agree.
That Jack Harlow, I think, is who took the picture. And it got out there that he went there because he wouldn't. Obviously, I don't think he would have told the NBA, "Oh yeah, I made another stop on the
right."
way."
And that's true.
All Lou had to do was hit up Rick Ross and be like, "Hey, bro, where the wing stop at?"
That's real.
Yo, Ross, where the wing stop? Man, I need wings, baby.
And then some chick said she danced for him all night. I saw it on. I didn't read the article, but on Yahoo, some chick said she danced for him all night. So he been out.
He was in there for 13 minutes.
She said she danced for him and she made some money off him that night. And it was on Yahoo. I didn't read the whole article, so.
I heard he went in there. I heard the camera footage is he went in there for 13 minutes with a mask on, got some wings, took a picture, and then left.
Yeah, that's the story. Said she made some money off him.
Either way.
That's the evidence.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's the evidence.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Right.
And he can prove
exactly. Right, that's true.
But you don't know if he was there for 45.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know
Magic City dancer. Hold on. A recounting of the trip by one of the club dancers poked another hole in his defense.
Shannon Sharp said the same thing. He was like, listen, them wings is fire. I'm telling y'all, the wings is fire.
Yeah, people don't know, man. Somebody said it wasn't in the chat, but they look, man, I don't know where y'all been.
They come to Atlanta.
Hey. But I will say the Major League Baseball is a hot mess with COVID now.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to get into that a little bit more. And the NFL just pulled some fuck shit by moving up the opt-out date to Thursday. Mm-hmm. So that's messed up because all the players are opting out. So the NFL doing what they do as usual.
Oh, something that was super dope, and we may not even talk about it, but The Rock buying the XFL.
Yeah,
for $15
I saw that.
million.
15, man.
He bought it, or I heard he bought it outright.
Yes.
Oh, I thought he said it was $15
million. That's a steal.
I know that's a steal, but he just got 15. I mean, I know he's The Rock.
He's worth 300.
He's worth 300 mil.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The Rock is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Literally. You know he owns his own name. So he went up to Vince McMahon like before he was gonna bounce and say, "Hey, I'll give you some. I'll reduce my salary and you pocket my money, so me to own my own name." So he is literally The Rock. Like everything, bro. He gets paid on everything. And just think about how big the movie
himself. He had partners too. So he did it with Danny Garcia and Redbird Capital Partners.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Million. So it's 3 people that bought it. Well, 3 entities.
Revolt TV reported that he's now part owner of XFL. That's what Revolt TV.
Yeah,
that's what you said.
Yeah, partners.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
that's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because you can't lose all your money. Like you got to lose some of this shit too.
Yeah.
So it's what the big business people do.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it was 15 million, and The Rock is the name that we know that bought a football entity. And look, he plays what's his character name on the HBO show?
That terrible football show, right?
It's not terrible.
Come on, Ballers.
Yeah. I can't remember but he's being the real life version of that, because that's what that guy would have did. It's dope. I like it. I like it. I want to see what the XFL does under The Rock. I really do.
Spencer is his name on the show?
Yep. Spencer something. Yep.
Spencer
Strasmore. Yep. Spencer Strasmore. Yep.
Damn. I guess we lost Nick, or maybe
yeah, he said he
No, Ken, you just no, you just did your job. You kicked him out.
Man.
Yeah, I hope Nick look at those like 6-7 damn links I sent him with Steph Curry creating this. Y'all see it in the group chat. I posted in the group chat.
Yo, look. What I was trying to say during that piece was we try to do it. We don't always do it, but like we always try to get together to watch these playoff games together, because sometimes I'll be feeling like, what the hell y'all be saying on the podcast, because what we just watch isn't what we're saying. So sometimes I want to do it live. I don't know if we'll do it. Maybe you could just watch it simulcast like how we're doing now, but we got to do it, because like when you watch Steph Curry, especially in the playoffs, we've been here at the studio watching Steph Curry in the playoffs, bro. And he just one dribble pass half court off the dribble in your mouth. It don't even matter, bro. So I don't know what the hell Nick be smoking when he be watching basketball, dog. But like Steph Curry, saying that Steph Curry can't get his own shot, that's asinine, bro. That's asinine as hell.
He got the Northern Lights, man. I don't know what that is. He got Northern Lights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
I don't know, bro.
And also FIFA, just speaking on that point, I don't know how I feel about you saying Dame was more clutch than Kyrie. I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
Look, to me, they're 1A. They're 1A, 1B. If you tell me Kyrie's more clutch, cool. If you tell me Dame's more clutch, cool.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Yeah, because I've always said this before. If you swap Kyrie and Dame on that Cleveland squad, Cleveland still want to win a championship.
Yep.
He's down
100%.
Yeah, I think Dame is underrated because of the market that he's in. Totally.
That's part of it. But I think Kyrie has done bigger things because he's been part of bigger moments.
Yeah, I'm finna say that's what balances out. You got the big regular season moments, and Kyrie got the big playoff moments.
No. Dame has big playoff moments.
He got playoff moments, but not no
not
finals moments. Not no finals moments. He don't have no finals moments. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. And then also, if I look at the volume and the significance of those clutch shots that Dame hit, Dame has more than Kyrie. Kyrie just has it at a higher level, more pressure built into the situation. And you gotta, that's a lot of stuff to overcome. So that's why I'm saying, if you give me 1A, 1B, it's cool. Okay. However you want to do it. But to me, from a volume clutch perspective, there's nobody more volume, more clutch, and more of a volume situation than Dame Lillard. So playoff regular season.
Lakers just beat Utah.
Yeah, they did.
108.
But they let them come back and make it a game, though. I'm watching it too.
What was the final score be?
116 and 108.
I saw shout out to Darryl Brown for always being active in the chat. I didn't know the final score. I didn't know if they won, but he did say before you mentioned that AD had 10 points in the fourth quarter. I did hear Ramil say he had a dagger shot.
A big shot.
Yeah, he had a big shot. Quarter. So,
yo, Nick, is that valuable?
He's gone. I think when he saw that, he just left. So
that's what happened.
But so maybe it's a coming out party. I know it's one game. You know how we do. You know how we do. B.
You gotta roll.
But it's big. Like sometimes roll. Sometimes you build off of that, and maybe it's preparation, knowing that tonight was a big game because that's the number one seed for them. So that's it. It's locked up and it's done. So now you start to get ready and you get in playoff mode. And it's like, okay, so what are you gonna do in the 10th quarter? I gotta watch the game to see how that happened. But
gotta get that context.
But yeah, 10 is 10. Damn, yeah. They say he had 42.
That's what he gotta do. That's what he got. His talent level requires that.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, he gotta average 27 or better.
And I think he will. I think he will. I think he will.
He'll get that easy because he
got to have a couple.
He'll walk in 30 and 10.
back-to-backs.
He'll walk in 30 and 10. He's a walking.
But will he be? Yeah, exactly. But will he be dominant?
Yeah.
Will he make anybody he faced be like, we got a problem with him? Because he is, and I think you said this over and over again, like he is the X factor against the Clippers.
Can't nobody handle him on Clippers. Can't nobody handle him.
That's it. They can't mess with him. Whenever he has a good
Montrezl
game,
Harrell, all them. They don't got no matchup for that.
Noah, I don't want to hear about him either. People were saying, "Oh, Joakim Noah's gonna become." I'm like, I'm not worried about him at all.
Yeah, and I love Joakim, but he's too old, man.
He done.
Hey, that's a Thibodeau carcass right there. Because he done drained everything out of that man, Joakim Noah.
And it looks like it. Too.
And it looks like it.
He looked at him. He look wild.
And Joakim still has a skill set, but it's like he be running hard and he be going slow as hell. It's like, Joakim,
looking like Shaq.
You're not that old, bro. What's going on? Like he is quicksand. He be and he's slow, bro.
They're running hard and going slow. That's
man.
But either way, so maybe tonight, I'm glad that happened before we got off air. Maybe tonight was the passing of the torch that we discussed earlier. At some point you got to be like, hey man, look, is you the guy, you got to take.
Oh, this was I didn't know this was an important game until y'all just mentioned that.
Yeah, it was. They needed this one. First of all, you lose to Toronto for like the 11th time. And then you need to get the number 1 seed.
Okay.
So you don't want to play around with that, man. You want to go ahead and take care of business, get your mentality ready for the playoffs, and stop being lackluster. They came out flat because we watched a little bit before we came on air, and what the announcer was saying was they did the same thing against Toronto, and they came back and made a game out of it with Toronto, but the Lakers looked sloppy and they looked like a mess. They didn't look good. But I think
as sloppy as they look, they were what now 2-1.
Yeah. And they lost to a real legit team that everybody on the show praised as a top team potentially coming out of the East.
And they still have players missing.
Yeah, so that's not a bad loss. And because AJ was hitting me up on Twitter, and was like, "Oh man, the Lakers look bad, the Clippers look great." But I'm like, the Lakers lost to Toronto, and the Clippers beat the Pelicans, who just won their first game. So it's like you gotta context. You gotta the quality of the opponent matters. Yeah. So you can't just look at one and not look at the other. So that's why we went back and forth about that. But nevertheless, Ramil, man, appreciate your insight and for coming through, man. When we talk about some more basketball, because I know FIFA and I talked about, trying to ramp up some content on the show, more basketball and more stuff just in general. So yeah, we got to talk, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you guys for having me. And go check out the Low Mid Podcast. It's on the Dead End Podcast Network. Be sure to be on the lookout for that. Some great content for you guys.
And apparently, they've reminded me again. They said it earlier, but Tuck Steyer said that I had Toronto missing the playoffs this year. I have to go back and pull the tape, but I believe him because he's not the only one that said it. So, but that's cool. But Toronto making the playoffs and looking this good is telling me something about Kawhi. So how about that?
You're saying that a lot about Nick Nurse.
And Nick Nurse as a good coach.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
That's what I'm saying. He should be considered coach of the year, man. If him or coach for OKC, I have no problem winning coach of the year.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're about to get out of here. Everybody hit that like button, like Moneyline Mark said, and we'll catch you guys next week. Subscribe. We out. Peace.
Hey.
All right, you guys. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you, man.
All right, homie.
All right, bro.
Yeah, Nick crazy than a motherfucker, boy. Nigga Steph Curry. And here's the thing: you could argue me down.